Bot is in the area. Descent does drop the Rift Guard. They're going to look to engage. It's going to be a Cataclysm getting dropped down, but Vagar got pulled into the Cataclysm, which could be trouble.
Ooh.
Down goes Evelyn Bot. Down goes the Vagar as well. Hugs Descent and the support on the one side, but they're going to be the ones to get engaged on. Ultimate coming out for the Malphite onto the Vagar, but the Vagar is still okay for right now. He's going to try to flash the rest of his team as Evelyn Bot is on. Look, the Caitlyn was left all alone on the backside, and no free hugs is now left all alone with everybody else from Farmingdale.
That's game!
Both of them are level 4. No Zillion bombs are available right now, which means French Delta Force is going to be able to get in. There's the flash, but the flag and drag lands, and El Unicornio in a lot of trouble. French Delta Force not able to get the kill. That one's going to go over to Huracan. Vagar doesn't quite know where he is. Has spotted him out. Here comes the Jarvan over the wall. Multiple members over the wall now as they're trying to get as much damage as possible. French Delta Force able to get the first kill. Now, bearing down on to the Xayah. They are going to get revived by the Zillion, but weak side. It just means they're a sitting duck to give more kills.
There's nothing.
Everything.
Yeah, they quite literally.
Malphite getting in there on multiple members here. Weak side is now starting to join the fight here. Somebody's in stasis, somebody's resurrecting, but it doesn't just matter. They're just all meant to die to Vagar. It's a double kill for weak side, a double kill for French Delta Force. They get a kill back.
Leave the old man alone!
But they are going to be able to close out onto the Zillion. The cherry on top for Froggy and Farmingdale State College.
Holding on to this stock at 160.
Oh yeah, both of these characters decently heavyweight, gonna be seeing very large percentages. And the back ear from that fat mansion to take it right there.
I see it too. Oh, good forward air tipper there. Hope should be able to recover from this unless you get countered. Dags with a huge opener there.
But Splat says, listen, I need you to get right back off stage. It's nice that you want to get here. You gotta go.
And the block, I think, actually helps Splat there. Again, falling because the second hit of that.
I didn't get to show out last time the way I wanted to. But I'll do it.
He's all warmed up now, but he will drop that stock this time around. Gordo up tilt, a week where they went to set number 3 and fell in that previous series.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, wow, what a down here. It's that you can kind of slowly build up damage. And then your armored move will not connect with all the hits, so you won't get the kill. And then you die. Tries to go for a very early up B kill right there. And your shield looks like a Skittle, and that will be it. The forward smash should be able to take it and hope with the JV3 against Splat.
That I think if you can use Milkman to shut down a B-Rush, you're pretty happy with that, especially if they're rushing right in. Mental Athlete catches 2, looking for more. Chris will not be outdone. They get 3 for Mental Athlete. Yeah, that was more. You're more than happy with that trade.
And that means no KJ utility either, no extra peaks. And there's a quick trade down. Hookah wins between the Omens. It's Ummo and uh-oh for Mars Hill, as that's going to be a Brooklyn College first map win. Players, just 1 shot left, probably 30 HP combined as Noodle gets traded. It's all up to Chris. Headshot necessary for Axite as he's trying to dance around the side, doesn't know where he's coming from. And Chris just barely secures it. I think 1 more second of stalling, and that's a Mars Hill round, so absolutely brutal. The concussion come through, flashpoints as well. This is an all-out brawl.
That's so much
ramp coverage. And everyone's here, and it's all looking good for Brooklyn, maintaining that weapons advantage, just rushing on in, and that's a flawless in this map point round. Suddenly surrounded, I think got shut down by a Rolling Thunder, and sure, Geiper's looking the wrong way, but that is a perfect defending half for Mars Hill for the win. Shot down, and that's gonna be an extra kill from the blast, and now it's just Geiper left after a flurry of kills. And no time to waste. There's too much on the clock. Lots of damage dealt, but only 1 taken down.
Trades on 1 on each, and Knives finally come out though. I could hear them. Didn't look like they caught anything though. There's the flank. Axite with a stringer doesn't find anything now. But trades coming through. 1 on each. Chris continue to trade 2 to 2.
Oh no!
Down. Finally the picks on Pixie. That's it. MHU stays alive.
Another moment where you're worried for him. Polo Spring gets that first blood. 2 members left. We've seen August come alive when moments require it, but now with worse weapons and not quite the angle, that is a 13-10 win.
And, well, we're already underway.
That we are, and I'm just so happy to be here. Of course, it's going to be Kilo Miles leading in on all the action, and I am Captain Ahsoka, going to be your co-host and commentator for today. And already, before we can even get the introductions done,
However, when iTheta gets the hit, then it's Nick Jam popped into the air, and that's no good. Especially when you're knocked off stage. Nick Jam trying to recover, going high, but gets knocked out of the air by the forward air, swatted away. Can he get it again? Waits for the air dodge, but he misses the up B.
ooh, already you can see Ken trying to get right back to work, but they're in the red. They're in the critical percentages. One solid hit, and honestly, from Ike, nearly every hit is solid, as that will just about do it. It's the up air to get the final stock. Oh, nice forward throw off of the edge. Not going to be able to confirm, though, as yet another final elimination goes the way of iTheta. And if I'm not mistaken, that's 3 up, 3 down. FSU take the dub.
Oh, Helix. I would have liked to see him press that, because you can't get that height off the wall, and Mux is going to be able to take advantage of it. And I mean, we've seen flip resets, we've seen ceiling challenges, and we just get the basic old school air dribble to go right into the mat. It's going to be Helix with the dribble away. Bumps 11 out of the way as well. That might be a goal. Helix over the top. Great downfield pass, and they're going to take advantage of the space created by this demolition. Able to get that one away. Helix going to get a pass back to the midfield, looking for Pancake. Going for the double tap. Squishy save attempt. Not going to be there. Here's Helix off the side, and a forced own goal once again. Concord's going to take the lead. And Pancake's not able to read that as Helix gets a monster dunk here. Can he turn around on it? He can. Helix.
Just realizing this ball's got to go somewhere and always knows. Now Matt Mux down bottom. Oh, brutal right there. Oxygen. Okay.
84?
82. My goodness.
Okay,
I could not have been farther off. Excuse me, folks. Excuse me.
As this one might find the back of the net, and it does again.
boy.
ET, let's give him 4. You know, we're talking about everything else.
14 seconds, maybe in somebody's dreams. There's another goal down bottom. 7 score differential here.
Zarya choice that V-Snipes is sitting on is going to help bring St. Francis to victory, but already Ohio Northern is going to get into the bases. Millions taking out their counterpart, and Zephyr now looking towards any more targets to be found, but the way they're falling, it's going to be basically just like that. It's already over before it even begins. And they do. Now with 5%, almost everyone in St. Francis caught inside of that Earth Shatter. The Immortality Field may have come up, but the damage, you cannot survive through it. No one able to touch from St. Francis. And Ohio Northern here, Jag is going to take map 1 of DePaul 2-0, 100-0 each round. V-Snipes, put your supports in great positions where they can not worry about damage, but still be able to get the healing. This is crazy from V-Snipes. They wanted to go in and try to meet the amplification matrix, but instead gonna meet their death, while Harry is having the time of their life on this Reinhardt.
It'd be a whole different sort of fight, but now they're going to try to go for a similar approach, but go a different way. But Harry knows. Harry's able to spear them off the map.
Wow.
Continued chaos.
We're seeing these things really doing the world's work on themselves, but Balder and this overclock 2 already looking to make that 3. Another pick here potentially. Really wanted to get rid of V-Snipes. Doesn't need the overclock, and now one final target to go. Caro assassinated. Boulders.
For a full one, at the very least, the Lucio trying their best to make it there. I do believe they'll at least get a little bit of a contest. But I mean, you can see where Harry is all the way in the spawn, and there's no more chances for St. Francis. Ohio Northern with a clean 3-0 to send them home with a smile.
But yeah, I'm just surprised that the Swain didn't end up moving a little bit sooner. His now, Jana, no flash.
He'll flash, auto attack, first blood. Froggy is the one to pick that one up, and Evelyn Bot is in the area. Descent does drop the Rift Guard. They're going to look to engage. It's going to be a Cataclysm getting dropped down, but Vagar got pulled into the Cataclysm, which could be trouble.
Ooh.
Down goes Evelyn Bot. Down goes the Vagar as well. Hugs Descent and the support on the one side, but they're going to be the ones to get engaged on. Ultimate coming off for the Malphite onto the Vagar, but the Vagar is still okay for right now. He's going to try to flash the rest of his team as Evelyn Bot is on the look. The Kaylin was left all alone on the backside, and no free hug.
Hello and welcome into week 1 of ECAC Valorant, of course brought to you by Esports U. My name is Visionary One, and alongside me tonight is Time to Light. Time, how are you doing, brother?
I'm excited. I'm excited for a new semester, a new week, and a new set of round robins for these teams and groups.
Absolutely. So ECAC is kind of putting that thing down, flipping it, and reversing it this time. We actually have a full round robin. We have 4 groups of 8 that are going to be duking out here on the elite side. And tonight, we're going to be bringing you, of course, Stockton University against Keiser College. So definitely excited to see these as well. I am interested to kind of see what we're going to see now that Icebox is back. You know, we have a new map pool. We have a couple new agents that are out. Sky just got massively nerfed. Like, there's so much as far as Valorant and so much happening right now that I'm really excited to see how these high-level teams kind of bring it together.
I want Sky Regenerative Flashes back. That's all I have to say on the new patch notes. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. We'll see you guys next week. No, I'm kidding. With the new format comes the full round robin. We have 7 weeks this season instead of 8, so a little bit more in jeopardy for week 1. You don't have that same level of time to just regather all your troops, have some time to set in for more comfortability. You have week 1. This is time to play. You've had a couple weeks of the semester for some colleges, or the semester started maybe 36 hours ago for others. Depends on where you are in the United States, depends on where you go to school, and more importantly, depends on how good you can be out of the gates here in this first week of play.
And you always want to start off hot, right? I think that's the biggest thing, is you always want to start your season out right, start generating that momentum. When you're talking about a full round robin, it's going to be kind of tough sledding ahead if you drop the first couple of weeks and you're always in that spot. So we're going to go ahead and see what 3 maps we're going to be playing today. Like I mentioned, we do have a new map pool, so we're going to be seeing Icebox today. It's not going to be the first map, of course. We're going to see Bind with Stockton picking that one, Keiser picking Ascent, and then the decider is going to be Icebox. And because a certain individual from the production team was in this chat earlier, I feel like we're going to see Icebox tonight.
I think that we're going to see Icebox. Christian, I hope we're going to see Icebox. It'd be my first time casting Icebox since it was removed from the pool decades ago. No, like a year. But it's been a little while to say that. It was probably removed about the time you and I last casted, which was November of 2022. It's been a little while. I'm going to fact check that one as we go into map number 1. But speaking of map number 1, Bind. I like the map. I'm a fan of the map, especially with the meta. I like how it plays. It's fairly even for most teams, at least assuming the 2 teams are even compared to one another. But I got to say, this group, in terms of teams overall, doesn't leave much to be desired in terms of, well, leaving much on week 1. You don't have that same level of time. Oh yeah, you're gonna have an easy opponent down the line. This is a difficult group. You got Wichita State, you have Fisher B, U Albany, Weber State. Things are not easy. Let's put it that way.
No, I mean, and that's why you need these wins early, right? We're talking about these groups. There's 32 teams. They are all extremely solid, and we're going into bind. But with the Sky nerfs, I'm very interested to see, are we going to continue seeing double controller? Are we going to see, obviously the Viper combined with the Brim, or are we going to see something else potentially with Breach maybe making a large comeback here with running a solo Brimstone? Looks like we're going to be seeing much of the same.
Yeah, Brimstone on the board, Viper on the other side. Surprising decision, I'm going to say, from Keiser. Nothing too out of the ordinary, but I'll say surprising. Cypher is not unordinary, but it is double controller on both sides. The Sky on the board is about to be, it's a mirror comp.
Yeah,
I was really looking for something more exciting, and then I was like, oh, that's the same.
And just in slightly different positions, TTL. It kind of is what it is. I'm not surprised to see this. Obviously, there hasn't been a lot of time to drill everything, too. We're talking about Sky nerfs that happened last week, right? So maybe you stick with what you know and you kind of try to innovate down the line. I expect to see a lot more Gecko just because you can re-pick up Dizzy, and it'll give you the opportunity to kind of spot some people on sites while you are pushing. I also kind of see, I think this whole thing was done really just to kind of trend away from double controller meta, but we'll see if that actually holds true just with how dynamic and how well it's been utilized by both pro teams and collegiate teams in the last year and a half, just about. So, I mean, it's a strong meta. It's proven useful, and we're going to see if it's going to continue being useful here with this mirror comp.
So, speaking of this mirror comp, this is the most common composition, not only in terms of individual agents and their own pick statistics, but for the total composition on its own. In every single game played on Bind in the last 90 days of North America, 25% of the time, a team will pick this composition. And I say this composition because singular, it's a mirror composition. Individually, Raze is picked 98% of the time. Sky, almost 97. Brim, 90. Viper, 85. So double controllers run somewhere in the neighborhood of 80% of the time. And Cypher, 34. The only replacement for Cypher would be Chamber. The only replacement for Raze would be either a Yoru or a Reyna. Everybody else is 7% or less, which I cannot say surprises me, but I do have to say in terms of the numbers themselves, a little shocking to see the level of consistency that Bind has brought up since, well, the lack of changes. Now, albeit this does not include the new change to Sky and her non-regenerative flashes, but even then, both teams are still picking her. So do with that information what you will.
And it just kind of comes down to being one of those things. Again, we've had a week to try to test stuff out. Maybe you're just running with what you know. I would love to see Breach brought back more on this map. I think he's stellar. There's a lot of long lanes. With not being a mid, he kind of proves more. But oh my gosh, early fight coming out there. 3 people are in hookah, and they're just going to completely demolish Chimp off of this one. As PJ, the Viper, playing entry now. This is wild to see. The A site's actually going to get taken here, mainly from, of course, the shower side. We're going to see if a fight's going to be found. It is, and Deck's going to be able to pick one off. Spike is going to be dropped here on the ground, and the retake is going to begin now with Cup holding quite an advantage.
This is still an attainable round, though. They have a 2-player disadvantage, but they do still have the spike and time advantage now. Not a heck of a lot of utility, given the fact that it is a pistol round. Even with a Molotov and the paint shells, they still have that line of sight, but they don't have the kills. That's the problem. A 1 versus 5 here for Tyler. They'll pick up a first, but Guiding Light off the angle, and Morgiana will stick the defuse. 4 players stay alive here for Cup, and at the end of the day, it is a pistol, regardless of the, we'll say, less than easily surmountable situation.
Yeah, I mean, you end up with 3 people alive after the spike drops. It becomes a little bit more difficult to kind of stop that flood, especially with A site being a lot easier than retake. B is actually statistically the hardest site to retake in the entirety of Valorant, and that's not just pro play. That's not collegiate play. That is literally at all ranks of play. We're talking from Iron to Radiant, including the pro scene. B site is the hardest to retake, so trying to flood that in with 5, you have pretty good odds, especially when you have numbers.
You know, I love a website that I'll give some kudos to here because they're very useful for stats if anybody's looking up numbers of their own. Thespike.gg is the source that I use for my agent selection statistics, some map statistics, composition statistics, basically the whole 9. Very useful, and they also convey a heck of a lot about how quickly a round can go, and also how often a defensive team wins the pistol. For instance, on Bind specifically, defense wins the pistol less than half the time, about 48%. So the attack is already disadvantaged with the fact that they've lost, plus the stats that they've lost.
Yeah, and it's not only that, you know, Bind becomes, it's so ebbs and flows instead of just being a straight defensive sided map. Sometimes teams are just really good or teams are really bad at it, and you don't really see a lot of the in between, as we have so much smoke just kind of trapping everybody in. Some early shots here going to come out from Morgiana, going to be able to find one, trying to get that chip damage as well. Not going to be able to find anything else, but Paint Shells might be able to do it a little bit here as the flood comes out now, and you're on a save. This is going to be extremely difficult to deal with. It is everybody and their mother pushing out. A smoke there going to allow Comedic to get one, but not going to find more with the Sheriff, and 4 people alive once again here for KUPP.
Yeah, Dex is more than happy to take that final kill, and more importantly, it is Keiser to keep 4 members alive for their economy. Conversion rounds are nice to win, and it's extremely nice to have multiple players stay over, because not only does it help your economy for longer rounds, but it gives you a significantly better shot at converting the bonus round. First round, good. Conversion round, arguably even better. Now, into your bonus, you are in a fair position. Not a good position, but a fair position given the situation. You have 3 rifles and Bulldogs. You have a Spectre, you have a Sheriff, everybody has armor, everybody will most likely have some extra utility over top of things. This is not an unreasonable round to say that Keiser could go up 3-0.
They certainly can, as we see the lurk over towards the site. This is going to be a huge double blast pack, and look where everybody from Cup is holding right now. There's 3 in showers, and there's no way PJ can expect this. Able to find one, but the stem beacon going to ensure they get another, and a Phantom going to be picked up here as well. That's also going to get a gun from Morgiana, and the rotate through the TP is going to be there as Dex tries to get some opening picks. Great molly to get some vulnerability off the start as well, as Cooling Chimp going to be able to find another, and Plant going down. 3v2 now. Cup still in favor.
Yeah, still in a terrible position. The pincer not going to come through. No rotation through B mid. It will be CT and elbow, and that's all. You have Gardens and you have Sight. Tyler in a decent position, but the lower HP taking the first fight will make things difficult, especially with the paint shells, which they'll luckily avoid, but not the gun of Dex. Swinging for 1, unfortunately caught with utility out, but that will not cost them the round. A 1-for-1 trade ends up going 2-for-1, and now 3-for-0 in favor of Keiser. Bonus goes their way, as does most of the start of this half. Extremely good opening on the defensive side.
Yeah, Time to Light, I don't want to say that you called it, but you were talking about all those Bulldogs and all that ability there to go ahead and do that damage, and it was a reasonable round to win, and look what Keiser pulled off there. Like, it's crazy to see. Glitch right now has only had 1 engagement so far. Ant and Dex have really been doing the majority of the work with 5 apiece in just 3 rounds, so been able to kind of take on the SU offense. We really haven't seen any dynamicism, right? We did see them go ahead and rotate through the teleport. The problem with that is you didn't really establish any map control. Once you did that, there was already that Viper there who was able to get an early pick and get away with their life, and it makes it that much more difficult moving forward to go ahead and be able to secure that site. As a nice pop flash going to come out. Good trade, 1-for-1. PJ with a great Sheriff shot to open things up.
You are happy with that opening if you are Stockton. The problem is, you didn't go 2-for-1, you didn't keep that first player alive. Ant will avoid a guiding light, they will go running for the hills. There's no reason for them to take this fight. Yes, they have the positional advantage, yes, they have the weapon advantage, but no, they do not have the player advantage, and that's the problem. They will play very disciplined, they may go and get aggressive as the spike starts to go down, but they don't over-aggress. Good situational awareness, good patience from them as well.
Huge flank coming out here too as well from the Brimstone, and Chimp seems to be on this one, but with the Sheriff not having that advantage, it's going to drop to Rabonos, and that's it. So you know one's on flank, you know one is elbow, but you don't have a lot of sight, as Morgiana is actually going to have an operator and be able to take one from CT. The round after the plant comes down, the successful B retake might be in order. The tap there, but Chrome not able to find the shots, and Ant comes in from the side, swoops in, saves the day, and it's going to be Keiser with a 4-0 lead.
I hate to be that guy, but it really wouldn't have mattered if Chrome hit those shots. They were going to die anyway. They would have just taken away an ult, maybe. It's really looking good for Keiser. The start, the pistol, they've won the rifle that they probably shouldn't have, and now they've picked up a follow-up just to set themselves into even more of a circadian rhythm. This will be the second real test of Stockton. Now, granted, they may have lost the bonus because they weren't expecting a little bit more overt aggression from Keiser. Sometimes that's the reason that you end up winning a bonus, or an eco, is because you do something that is unexpected out of desperation. And that is the unexpected. Desperation. However, Stockton now with full weaponry, same for Keiser, maybe that's the difference maker. Op misses, start at least goes the way of Stockton with some information and some free real estate.
And a stem beacon, at least to run it down. Cooling Chimp going to go ahead and see the Skydog coming, of course, from long. Is Morgiana going to reposition over into Shower? Definitely like to see that. There's some space being taken here by Chrome into U-Haul. They're going to be able to find anything. No, it's going to be players backing off here. Still trying to take the side. Is Comedic going to get an opening pick here? Brimstone with the first blood doesn't happen much, but you definitely love to see it as the spike should be going down here. As the smoke going to come because they know one is still Shower. That's a great job right there. Paint Shell is going to come to try to delay the plant, and it is going to be successful. So we're going to see SU kind of struggle busting right now, trying to get through the site. Pot shot going to be taken, but not going to be found, as the spike is going to go down 5v4. The first favorable situation we've seen Stockton in a post plant this entire match so far.
And Morgiana just missed the opportunity through mid. Off out, you do not want this for the retake. They're down to 1. They should probably reload. They'll take a first fight and they'll lose it. Comedic goes for 2, 3 on the round, and makes this an almost certain round for Stockton. But it's not over just yet. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Keiser, luckily, will start that process a little earlier for Stockton. That should just about do it. Yeah, Glitch will walk away as well. They are missing a T, but they won't be missing any HP. And that should be Stockton's first.
It certainly will be. I mean, I would hope that you can't defuse from your own spawn.
I've seen crazy things. I don't think that is on the list, but I have seen crazy things.
I certainly have as well. Is the operator going to be saved as well for Morgiana? And I think that's extremely important, being able to save that eco. Obviously, they've been able to build up. Dex was kind of low, but everybody else has money for days. They're going to be able to buy up into this one. Should be a little bit easier here, of course, for Cup, as it's going to be another rifle round, essentially, for both teams.
I cannot emphasize how important that opening pick of the previous round was. The Orbital Strike was active and available on Renobos. If they have that coming into the round, and they're able to shut down the plant, they're able to find a kill, they're able to do whatever with that piece of utility and with help, that's a completely different aspect. But the fact that you take out the Orbital Strike, you take out the Brimstone, lack of utility, lack of information, that's your problem. No reinitiation utility, no way to say, oh yeah, let's play off-site, other than the paint shells, which only delay a few seconds. That opening kill was a difference maker. Will Stockton find it again? Not with Cooling Chimp aimbotting. Not actually, just cranked his DPI for a second.
I mean, sometimes you just got to crank 90s. Doesn't matter what game you play, right? I mean, it is what it is.
Fair, yeah.
Dex here going to be sitting, of course, in Hookah. We're going to see if they're going to be able to find any value here. This is a pretty heavy default. We've seen Stockton kind of be aggressive with their hits. They're trying to feel it out and see, of course, if Kaiser's going to get aggressive here, and it hasn't happened just yet. Everybody's just kind of holding true. The only big difference there is that Brimstone. There's a potential pinch coming out here onto the Cypher of the offense. We're going to see it. Okay, Glitch is able to find one. Are they going to be able to find another is the question. Actually had Brimstone alongside them. Sorry, my colorblindness rearing an ugly head right there. So they're able to go ahead and come through. It's going to be Stockton down a person. Kaiser's going to be able to have one. You have all the utility about to be dropped, and you do still have, like you mentioned, that Orbital Strike available to stop any plant that might go down.
Oh, and the fact that that is still here makes things significantly more difficult. Fake plant does not make things easy. They will stick it through. There's the Orbital Strike. It is baited properly, but the bait forces Tyler out into the open, and Glitch will find the kill. The rotation is predicted. However, Dex is still waiting here. We've seen this story before. They'll drop into the Snakebite. First kill found, a second as well. Through the other, a collateral to close. And just like that, Keiser are going to pick up a fifth in flawless fashion, no less. Talk about a statement made in the first half.
Yeah, it was a great swing out, that aggression onto Shower. They double peeked it, saw that nobody was actually on Shower and peeking that aggressively, and they wrapped all the way around, took out Cooling Chimp, and because of that, basically the round just kind of fell apart, right? They're like, okay, well, they're behind us. We either have to go right now, something else has to happen. Brimstone's still alive. You have to deal with Orbital Strike. You have so many aspects there. Obviously, you saw the Poison Orb there as well. There was so much coverage on the A site that all you can do is teleport, right? But then you just have Dex sitting there getting the vulnerability with the Snakebite, of course, and that's pretty much wraps after that. It was a great collateral, don't get me wrong, as this is going to be burned right here onto U-Haul. Nothing is going to be found, though. An arm scene, however, shot is going to land, but it's not going to take it out. The wall bang, keeping one alive is Morgiana. Holding this with the shorty, going to go down. So that's operator down. Not a lot of long coverage left available as the site is flooded, but Stockton going to finally have a lead again, make that 2 in this post-plant scenario.
What is Dex doing there? Questionable decision with a flank now setting through. Comedic is aware of it. Frenzy out. Flashbang though. Staring contest with the sun and one they will lose. Renobus finds a follow-up and Glitch is gone for 2 of their own. Just like that, it becomes a 2v2. Seekers and Neural Theft available here for the hold. But things become a little bit more difficult with that lack of information. Cyber Cage up just for that lack of information. The swing properly timed by Cooling Chimp. They'll find one. Re-swing back. Ant goes for the 1v1. They have very limited time. Again, Seekers still available. They do not have the Trailblazer, but it looks like they'll stick. And they may very well have the time to do it. Pros don't fake. Apparently, neither do college players. He'll find the round. What is Cooling Chip doing? I can't believe Keiser pick up a 6th off that.
And it's not even an inch of diffuse. There's no smoke down.
No way.
He's in the open, and he just
What is
gets
he
away
doing?
with it. I just.
He didn't even use the Seekers.
I know. I mean, the Seekers were on the side of Ants, of course. Like you could have popped the Cypher ult there as well. Cooling Chip did get 3 kills there, right? He got his ult online, was able to potentially go ahead and burn that and see if they were on or not, at least for 2 pings, right? Or at least 2 ticks. And it just doesn't come through, and they slow walk around, and you're able to steal around and able to keep that economy as well if you're Keiser. It's just so difficult to deal with as Morgiana's going to find another opening pick. And as long as Stockton is entering into these sites, you know, already down a person, it's going to get harder and harder for them to be able to secure what we're seeing right now.
Here comes the showstopper. Into lamps, it finds 2+ damage. Close range is the Brimstone. Aggression, to say the very least. He finds 1 with a Stinger. Comedic will be lucky to stay alive and does for the first fight, but will not escape for a second, and that'll do it. It is Keiser to put the Brazil on the cards. Stockton having troubles early, and is not solved by any means of them continually just sending an onslaught to the A site. They do realize there's 2 sites, and the second one you're allowed to go for early, right?
I mean, it looks like they might be heading there and taking your advice this time. However, like they've been just mollywopped by Dex every single time they have tried to touch the B site. So like I understand the hesitancy, right? The same end of the coin though, it just makes it harder and harder because you can't sit there and just be predictable and, you know, try to hit A 4 times in a row. It feels like, you remember when this game first came out and every pro team ever just only hit A on Icebox, just completely avoided B like the plague. And it was
a second site on
site
Icebox?
hit. Yeah, there is actually a second site on Icebox. They didn't really make any changes to it, which is still the craziest thing in my mind, as Tyler might be able to get some information here. And this is just great denial once again, right? You have the orb, you have everything else. We're gonna have Dex and 2 bailing out. This is actually gonna be a free B site, and you're gonna have the opportunity here to potentially take this one down into spawn. Unfortunately, Chrome pops it a little bit too earlier, but we're also going to go ahead and see that beautiful Viper ult drop as well, just trying to get SU to come through, and this is going to be difficult for Cooling Chip here, who's just sitting here. There's one, the fire's through. Does he have more? No, Morgiana's going to be able to find it.
He did have help, but it's a little late, and the Neural Theft will actually force that help backwards. Second upload will come through. There's all the information you're looking for, albeit it is delayed, and information over time does not help unless it is consistent, and this is very much not. Comedic will take advantage. He actually finds 2 in the process, and the retake very less successful compared to previous rounds. The onslaught of B finally does work. Magically, the second site goes their way, and Stockton will put themselves back up a ramp.
Yeah, I mentioned that it's the hardest site in all of Valorant to retake. You add a Viper's Pit on top of that, and it's darn near impossible. It's just too many places to hide. Obviously, you have 2 where you can kind of hide from paint shells. You can hide from shock darts if they were playing a Sova here. There's just so many options there after you have that site held, and just a good, solid option right there, of course, coming out from Stockton. We're going to see if they can continue this momentum and potentially do it again as they look to take the B site early once again. We're going to see PJ potentially lurking towards the A site is just 2 again, going for that same exact long hold onto B for Keiser.
My question, at least for now, is what does Stockton do to find a little bit more consistency around this B-side take? You've already been seen, and obviously Hookah isn't the most consistent thing for you, but you do still have a decent bit of that control early in most of these rounds. That information for Cooling Chimp, they'll have to get out, but they will have help for the pincer, and Dex just shuts it down through a smoke because they can. They're getting aggressive here as well. Guiding Light through the Cyber Cage doesn't work, and it doesn't have to, apparently. Ant still wins the fight in a 5v3 retake.
5v3, but again, this is a hard site to hold. However, when you're just surrounded on both sides, it makes it that much harder as PJ is going to be found here. Ant doing work on this end. Going ahead and looking towards elbow. One's still going to be on site right now. Nice little blast pack, but it's going to be shut down. Comedic and Tyler combining here now a 1v2. It's going to be close as Ant turns that flash, but it's going to be Run Bros being able to come out, or I'm sorry, Runabos. I can't read apparently as well. Going to be able to take that down. Is that a lobster time to light?
No. That's a Sage looking like she's about to throw up, though.
Yeah, I did
don't
see
know why
that
he's
second
sick to his
spray,
stomach
too.
on that one. Okay, well, it's a good retake that time. And more importantly, it's the good opening before the retake. They didn't allow the pincer from long to sit in. They got aggressive on the retake of B before they actually had to retake the B site itself. And they made sure to play strength in numbers. You're playing the buddy system. Don't take the 2v4 on the site. Take the 2v1 on long. Eliminate that possibility of threat from behind. Allow yourself to really tunnel vision as you're allowed to do so, rather than having to force yourself to do so. And Keiser's just going to keep doing the same thing. Don't care about hookah. Pay attention to long. And I mean, it's not an unreasonable decision. It seems like it's working. They also have the get out of jail free card over towards that teleporter should they need it as well.
They absolutely do. And it just comes down to one of those things. Is because we've seen explosive takes out of hookah completely wreck even professional teams, right? We have seen opportunity. Oh my God, Dex. Yeah, my point doesn't matter if Dex is shooting like that. It's basically wraps, but Tyler's going to be able to find Dex. Go ahead and go for that long pick as well, and it's going to be a teleport away. So plan is going to be solidified once again. Comedic does have orbital strike online. However, Glitch is going to be able to lurk into elbow with the spike going down. You have to be able to watch long. I don't care that that one teleported out. It doesn't matter. They could still hit this flank once again. And if you lose that orbital strike and you're down in numbers again, it's going to be that much more difficult to hold on to this retake.
Late Seekers swing wrong direction for BJ, and oh my goodness, Comedic, even aware of it, can't win the fight. Ant doesn't care about Tyler. They'll win that doppelganger duel. So close. And Keiser will pick up their 9th. Stockton, again, having some difficulties on the hold. Second unsuccessful hold of the B site in as many rounds.
Just generally speaking, right? When you're taking a site, you typically expect to have like 2 picks, be an even 3v3. The way that Keiser is actually playing this B long is not really allowing them to get any kills. And with the way Dex and Ants have been playing so far, with them just going, okay, you know what? If we stay alive, we definitely have an opportunity. Glitch had a solid 2K at the end there. It just seems like everything's kind of on point. The contingency plans are there and they're able to work through it as we see another potential B hit. However, this looks more like a flood towards long, potentially to shut down this pressure that they've been having to go against, because obviously hookah hasn't been working out, and this is a good job as well, going ahead and forcing one out. Dex, oh my, gonna find 3 before they get taken down by the paint shells.
There's no business doing that, and Ant follows up with a kill of his own. They send the kitchen sink to long, and somehow a plumber is still required to answer the call. And Tyler's left alone. You blink and you miss it. 25 seconds gone in the round, and Tyler's alone to put the curse on the cards. That would be 9-3, but I don't think it's going to come through. 10-2 seems more than likely, barring some divine intervention. And this is just more of a problem than they can solve. Extremely good snake fight, and good recognition that they're not going to get away from the early orbital strike, so I suppose swing it and just spray. It works. They have the poison cloud as well. Lack of information ends up paying off for them. Morgana has now seen Tyler, and the spike is still down on the B side, so it'll be just a full send, most likely for Keiser. I wouldn't blame if they just wait, though. There's no reason to send it if you don't have to.
I mean, you got 40 seconds to work with, right? But the problem is Spike is in hookah, and that is basically surrounded right now. So it's not going to be anything too crazy. You have the double swing, the high-low coming up from the other side as well. One is kind of just patiently waiting on this flank, not going to push it. They're just going to allow Tyler to come in. I feel sorry for you, buddy. That is it's a heck of a high-low there. It's not one that I've seen too often, but when you have the Spike in hookah, that's a great plan to get yourself to 10-2.
It doesn't seem like they're going to slow down anytime soon. I was talking about those pistol round statistics, with it being just shy of 50 on the defensive side. It is just over 50 on the attacking side. 51.22% of the time the attacking side wins the pistol, to be exact. Again, over the last 90 days, that's across every region, not just North America. And I gotta say, Keiser's looking pretty good for it. They're picking up a few ghosts. They have classics on 2 and shields on Renobos, interestingly enough. But if I'm Stockton here, it was a fairly close pistol last time around. I would not hate them just holding W on the defensive side. Put something new on the cards, because Keiser has been running up and down this bind first map.
Yeah, and they've just been able to successfully retake pretty much any setup that's been seen, as this is going to be just a straight up stem beacon scenario right here. Morgana looking to go ahead and push early. Going to be able to potentially find one. No, it's going to be Comedic here to shut it down. Stem beacon going to come out and return fire as well. So Renobo is going to go ahead and fall, but Tyler has the response, and this is kind of going to open things up here as the spike still not grabbed here. by Keiser, and Glitch is going to be able to find one of their own. Great headshot there to kind of switch this thing up just a little bit. 3v3 now with Ant diving in onto the site, but Cooling Chimp going to be able to find that and shut it down, make it a 3v2. Spike still has to be retrieved by Keiser, and now it's a 1v3.
But 2 people have been seen, so Glitch has a reasonable assumption to say A is either clear or there's only 1 person here. If I don't see anybody as I'm running in, I should probably take out my gun right about now, or just go for the spike plant. Might as well send it if you have the time. But a 1v3, again, is not unreasonable here. No utility whatsoever, camera not going to regenerate. You will have the true gunfights, at least from Glitch's perspective. But what does Stockton have to say about this one? And, well, where are they going to go? It's a tripwire only. That's the extent of utility for their side.
Doesn't really seem to matter to me. You play the buddy system here, you shouldn't lose a pistol in that. It'd take some heroics from Glitch to go ahead and do this, as all 3 are going towards long. He's going to be able to isolate one. There's one. Can you isolate the second? Now this has become a 1v1. Here's the opportunity that Glitch was looking for. Spike not being held. Oh my comedic. Obviously that's Herd. Has to get on the spike. There's the head, and there it is gone. Glitch plays it to perfection, isolates ones, and is able to send Cup to 11. Basically from the brinks of defeat.
And that is a dire mistake from Cooling Chimp. What Cooling Chimp does is he throws the lone tripwire, the only piece of utility all 3 of them had, too far into lamps. So, because Glitch was so far forward, the tripwire was actually put behind him, not in front of him. And he heard it go off when he was about to back up. He goes, oh, there's a tripwire in front of me. I can't go for the flank anymore. No, he turns around, he goes, oh, there's a tripwire. I can go for a flank. And they have no idea. It's a false sense of security. Nobody's looking there, and everybody's wondering, where the heck did that tripwire go? The wrong direction. All of about 1.5 feet was the difference there, unfortunately. And that would have been the difference maker for Keiser University. 1 round away from going on to map point, and that is a wild 1v3 to pull off. A 4K clutch in the pistol, and that may very well spend the end of the game. 89% of the time, the attacking side, if they win the pistol, do convert the second round. I see no reason as to why that would stop now.
I don't either. Unfortunately, you have obviously some utility here. You have the Viper still up. You have Ant just kind of chilling. There's a lot of information you can still get, and it's still a hit towards the B site, apparently, with 4 still alive, as Glitch is just kind of hanging out here, making sure that nobody's pushing off of the flank. Morgiana's going to go ahead and send that on through. Boombot not going to find anything. Paint Shell's looking to find a home here as well, potentially through the Viper wall. We're going to get the Incendiary from Brimstone as well. Good flash coming out, but PJ is going to be able to find one. Have they found PJ yet? No, Chrome's going to take down a second. You talked about the conversion numbers. Now it's all of a sudden swung in favor of Stockton. Is now a 3v2. Spike still has not dropped yet. His Dex looks to take a fight. Going to be able to find one. 2v2 now. Spike still not gone down yet. 20 seconds remaining.
I don't think there's enough time for them to take the teleporter. That's their main problem. I think he's looking to pick this up and go back the other way. He's got 15 seconds. Again, you need 4 seconds to get the spike down, and it looks like he'll have the time. Glitch will be able to get this down. It will be a plausible clutch in back-to-back rounds, and he'll get it down at a decent position. Not the end of the world, not a strong beginning either, but the 2v1 is still a very prime spot to put this in his favor. The tripwire put down, I don't know if the Marshal saw which direction that was put down from. Chrome seems to be at least generally aware, and now looking over towards this lamp's position. Can Glitch do it in back-to-back rounds? Neural Theft available, both players coming from the same position, and that one piece of utility now off the cards, but Chrome looks the right way, still can't win the fight. Low HP generally for Tyler, but still more than enough to win it, should they have the aim. Glitch does in back-to-back rounds, 6 frags in just 2 rounds time in this second half, and off the back of it, Keiser is on map point.
And PJ did such a great job of holding down elbow for Stockton. You know, you get your numbers advantage, you get everything else, and for some reason it just seems like Stockton just can't stop giving 1v1s. I mean, over to Glitch. Insane. Like, you gotta stop. You can't keep feeding that man like that. It's gonna be another force up coming out here, of course, from Keiser. It's going to just make it more and more difficult as you see the buy disparity here. It's pretty much scuffed a little bit on both sides. We're going to see a Guardian, a Bulldog, a little bit more, but Ant looking to make their presence felt here early. Is Ant going to go ahead and use that Trailblazer? Now can't turn whenever you go ahead and send it forward. That was a patch a couple of months ago. They continue to hit Sky with those nerfs, making sure that she isn't the lone initiator picked in these double controller comps. It doesn't really seem to change that much, though.
No, she's just objectively better. Hate to say it. even with some of the nerfs coming through. Dex is about to find timing. Comedic looking at his wrist. I don't know what you're calling there, coach, but it's not the right play. Comedic down early. Dex looking for a second, wants to try and find Cooling Chip on the backside of the site, but Morgiano will find Chrome instead, and that may very well do it on the map. Good Cyber Cage does give a plausible situation, but now a 1v5 for Tyler. A Neural Theft up as well. Position very duly noted. And out in heaven, looks like you're headed to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, opportunity of winning this one's going to be quite difficult. The double swing and,
yeah, goodbye.
and that in and of itself just represents the difference that we saw out of these two teams, at least on Bind, right? The amount of times that we saw Keiser swing together and just play off of each other's utility compared to Stockton kind of isolating themselves in 1v1s is really how, I don't want to say how you can lose a match, but it's vital. That's one of the biggest things in TAC FPS is being aware of where your team is, being able to trade them out and effectively get those 1-for-1s so you can continue to push and take space. We just didn't see Stockton really able to take any space either on defense or on offense.
Let's see, 6 kills in the second half. That was all of, what, 3 rounds? I think it may have been 7. I don't know if he picked one up in the final round there, but that is a gross first map of the season. And this is a team that is just now coming together on the Keiser University side. We got some information from their coach/manager earlier. This is the first time that they're playing in an organized 5v5 setting as a full team. They've been playing scrims, they've been practicing, obviously, but this is their first official as a squad. I gotta say, this is a pretty good first official, at least after map 1. Granted, it is a best-of-3 series, so don't get too ahead of yourself, but this is a pretty good map 1 for the squad.
I will say this much. They looked drilled on Bind. They were successful in their ideas. They were able to retake B, which is statistically the hardest thing to do in Valorant. They just looked solid. They played off each other's util well, and they were able to go ahead and take that map. Now, going into map 2 is going to be the big difference. When you see anything different on Ascent, potentially, that has kind of been solved here, it's the closest thing we have to Dust 2 here in the Valorant scene. So that'll be coming up, of course, after this break. Definitely excited to bring you more ECAC Valorant right after this. Welcome back to Esports U, where we have, of course, ECAC Valorant in between Keiser University and Stockton University. Unfortunately, map number 1 was a swift one on Bind, with Keiser taking it 13-2. We're now going to go to basically the checkers or Connect 4 of Valorant. It's basically a found map. 60% of the time, the same comp is run 100% of the time to light, as we are going to Ascent. So the bread and butter of Valorant is here, and I heard you have some fancy numbers for us as well.
I will later, but I mean, for the time being, the stat I don't like is somehow it's only picked the third most, albeit it's the third most by like 0.34%, so it's not a heck of a lot, but it is the third most picked map. Lotus and Haven, ironically enough, have it over top, and Haven isn't even the option, so of the current pool, it is the second most picked. As of right now, Ascent is played more, and it'll probably be played even more with Icebox now available. I'm not looking too happy for all of my Ascent not enjoyers, as an Ascent not enjoyer myself. You know, if they removed this map from the pool, all would be right with the world. It's like that Utopia meme, you know, if they removed Ascent.
No, I actually agree with you there. I would much rather see Haven still be in. I don't really feel like that map needs to be reworked in many ways. It doesn't have the crazy wallbang angles that Ascent does. It doesn't have the main problems of having really close choke points and the only way to get on site, and you always have to mid-split. I just feel like it is also a more diverse map. We get to see a lot more different compositions on that map than we do typically on this one, as we are going to see the straight rock chalk comp coming out of Keiser. I mean, every single professional team has been running this comp pretty much. It is not a surprise to see Jet, KO, Sova, Killjoy, and Omen here. Obviously, you can always switch out that Omen with an Astra, but it seems like Astra's kind of fallen out of the meta ever since the 5 stars has been taken down to 4. We don't really see her too much, except on Pearl, which is obviously not a part of the pool right now as well.
Yeah. Astra has only been played 5 times, at least in terms of that composition with KO, Killjoy, Jet, and Sova. This is the most popular composition by, I'm not even going to say a country mile, probably like a city mile, which arguably seems even longer. 73.64%. It is played in 243 of 330 instances. Not surprising. The next closest is 16 of those same 330 instances, and it's not even for the Astra. It's for the Cypher instead of the Killjoy. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. This is the stock standard composition that has been on Ascent since day 1 and will be on Ascent at day infinity, if we even can reach that point. All I gotta say is, please remove the map. At least Haven had some other agents. This is the same. I don't even get to talk about agents in this map, except for to talk about how lack of differences they have. I don't know, you get the idea.
I mean, for the second map in a row, by the way, Time to Light, we get a mirror comp.
Mirror?
Yeah.
I was expecting it here. I was a little surprised back in map 1.
I was very surprised to see it on Bind. I am not surprised to see it here. I mean, any team worth their salt, they basically run this comp. We've obviously seen Vipers start to make a little bit of noise here, as we just get a heavy default here from Keiser to kind of start off this round. Now, it is kind of interesting, though. The one thing I will say is KJ doesn't have as much effectiveness on the lurk, just because the turret can't get as much information on that spot that it's on Hut, kind of on B main. It's a little early swing here, going to be there. Oh, Morgiana has an answer immediately. Crumb's going to get taken down, and now we go into the mid-split to go ahead and start this off, looking towards the B site.
This is a stock standard mid-split, and it seems like it's going to work for Keiser off the bat. They went 3 for 3 on their attacking rounds back in map number 1, and it doesn't look like that's going to change all that likely here. Comedic is out of position. Paranoia does not catch them, so that will not cut off noise, but Asova tucked into Boathouse, and some support to throw off angles, but the Sheriff can only find one. There's the help from Comedic, though, and Renovos on an island does not have help, and more importantly, does not have all that much HP. That's the most dire position they're in.
A Glitch is going to have a hard time getting out of this Omen smoke, as one's already on the angle. Glitch not able to do it with the pistol this time. Nice headshot coming out from Comedic, and 15 HP and a Sheriff in the hands of Renobos. Able to find one. Are we going to see another situation where 1v1s are given? We are, but PJ is going to be able to win it out this time. Stockton is going to go ahead and take the pistol round here on defense. 1-0.
Renobos, unfortunately, not with a clutch back in map number 1. They weren't put in all that many clutch scenarios. Some interesting stats from map number 1, if anybody happens to be curious. 16 multi-frag rounds between 3 separate people. across only 15 rounds of play. Glitch with 6, Ant and Dex with 5 apiece. They also won the opening kill battle, but not as much as you thought. It was only 9-6 rather than what I was thinking, like 12-3 or something along those lines. So opening duels, maybe not as important as they may seem. And now with Stockton, they have their first pistol round of this series.
I mean, it's kind of rock chalk for Ascent, right? I know you have everything pulled up from the spike right now. So, I mean, how many times does defense win pistol on Ascent?
54.64%. So they are
That's
more
actually
likely to do it. Better
less than I would
Bind.
expect, though. That's less than I would expect. As Tyler's going to take an early engagement here, be able to find one. Chrome finds another. As PJ actually made it into Wine. Early swing coming out right here as well. Spike's going to be dropped. And, hey, Stockton actually looking like a cohesive unit right now.
Yep, and some more stats on at least conversion rounds. 86.33% of the time, if the defensive side wins the pistol, they will then win the second round, or known as the conversion round. That happens here, unsurprisingly. It also helps when your opponents don't get a spike plant and don't buy in that second round. Of course, some statistics can be skewed with some individual performances. Maybe somebody buys a Sheriff and finds 4 kills. This was not one of those cases. Bonus round, however, compared to last map, is not going to be as likely to win for Stockton. Remember, Keiser had 3 Bulldogs, a Spectre, and a Sheriff. Here, it is 3 Spectres, a Sheriff, and an Ares, interestingly enough. Not too likely, but still plausible should they find some isolated fights that they can win.
This is my favorite word that you just used right there, plausible. Just reminds me of the good old-fashioned Mythbusters back in the day, as this is going to be an A hit, and it's going to be coming in quick, as well as Renovos is going to be able to get on site. Take a lot of damage from that Nano Swarm, however, and this is going to be just an empty site. Wallbang's coming out from that Ares. Going to be able to find some chip damage, but not much more, and I love this plant spot right here. As one actually in tree, and it's not checked. Okay, Spike's going to go down. Some good chip damage being done by Stockton right now with the lesser buy.
The lesser buy, that chip damage becomes even more impactful. It becomes headshot requirements. Ant swings, somehow doesn't die immediately, but a 1-for-1 trade makes this, again, very likely to go Kaiser's way. Utility starting to be dumped in. Recon goes through, and somehow Comedic finds one. Make it a second, and Cooling Chimp wins their 1v1 as well. Stockton, I said plausible. That will very well do it. They pick up the bonus. Both teams successful on all 3 bonuses we've had thus far. And Stockton able to set in to a little bit of a rhythm in the first half of Ascent.
The thing that surprised me the most is we get a timeout here called by Keiser, and I'm not really surprised by this timeout at all. Yeah, I don't blame him at all. You just won 13-2. You lose the bonus round. We're going to have a chat. So Ant going to go ahead and call that one, as Ant actually coached one of the members on his team currently before at Auburn. So very, very cool little statistic right there. Dex was playing for Auburn's football team and their varsity Valorant roster, and they were being coached, or Ant was being coached by Dex while they were on the Auburn Valorant roster. So they come over here to Keiser. They're able to make some impact relatively quickly in map number 1. However, Ascent is looking very strong right now in favor of Stockton. Going to have all the guns in the world, including Tyler with an operator on Jet. Not really surprised by that, but able to hold that space even potentially better than they were. I mean, it's looking solid for a 4-round split right here, although Ascent typically defender-sided anyway.
Yeah, you're probably looking at 8-4. 9-3 is not unusual, but 7-5 is about your most common, if not 8-4. This should go Stockton's way regardless, and the start of it even more helps them in that direction. The fact that the spike goes down will allow Keiser to buy up a little bit. I'd be very surprised if Renovos, yeah, there you go, does not sell that back. They do. It's Sheriffs across the board, half shields for everybody. This is the classic, hey, we have an arguable shot if a few of us hit our shots, but other than that, we don't want to invest too much into a round that we're probably not going to win.
Oh, Tyler's getting aggressive here as well, trying to beat out the smoke. Gonna go ahead and see the cape of one, but not able to land the shots, as Tyler's gonna go ahead and fall back, and this is just gonna be another aggressive mid-split. Once again, Cooling Chimp gonna be able to find one. Are you gonna be able to find more? No, gets collapsed on, and Renovo's gonna be able to get the trade out. Now Tyler gonna have a difficult time here as well, kind of blinded off by that smoke. Only one isolated here on the site, and it's going to be down to the KJ here to hold on for dear life. Are they going to be able to do it versus this team who hasn't really pushed in just yet, as Comedic's able to find the first?
That last smoke just got built up. They didn't wait for it to bloom, and in doing so, the aggression from PJ works. Glitch is now left alone. 1v3 with a Sheriff. won't even be able to find one. They didn't have that same rhythm that they had back in map number 1 on the Eco. The issue there for Keiser was they didn't take that momentum that they had and hold W off the back of it. They needed to pick up the rifle and go onto the site. They needed to push Comedic while he was alone. As soon as Comedic had help, they had people to swing off of, and they had the ability to then re-aggress as required. It works. Comedic finds their solo kill over towards Catwalk, and then they have some help from the more passive play from PJ, and at the end of the day, it's 4 straight rounds for Stockton. Here may very well be where the buck stops, but it, again, could come down to that opening pick, and this one will be smoked off.
It will be smoked off. Tyler going to go ahead and swing this again. Okay, spots a bunch there, puts himself in danger, but able to somehow get away with the dash. I mean, good use of the tailwind, you know, just being able to get that spot. And right now, it's been Keiser just rushing down mid almost every single round, and it seems like Stockton is just more than happy to give it up to them. They have a tag, they have the Odin here, and you know what? It's not a flood. They're hitting W key a little bit faster than they did last round, but support's still not there. Is Comedic finally going to fall, but the 1-for-1's going to be there. And there you go. You've taken the site. You're going to be able to get the plant down, and now here's the opportunity. 4v2. The question is, do you decide to save out here because you do have that operator and you know you don't want to lose it?
I'd say yes. The only thing that you would not save immediately is if the operator walks forward and finds a kill, and then you can push off of that. That's an angle and a half there for Tyler, but it's not something they can do with. That's info. That should be the round. I love that just W key from Keiser. Again, they find the opening kill, and they push off the back of it. Ironically enough, there was more support quicker for Stockton in this round compared to the previous, and yet it is still going to be Keiser to walk away with it. Operator does find one here for Tyler, but I don't know how much more they'll find. They won't even survive. Even a shot through the smoke from distance for Dex will close it. That's what they needed to do in the previous round, even from the shadows used for Stockton. Not an ultimate that you see used in all that much effective fashion, all that common. That was really good from PJ, just couldn't hit the shots to follow up, and unfortunately Cooling Chimp lost their fight as well.
Yeah, I mean, they did a solid job of holding onto the site initially, right? We saw the 1v1 available to take on both sides. They were covering lane, they were covering stairs. They did a decent job of that. Unfortunately, just kind of fell apart. The thing I'm most surprised about is seeing a KJ operator on attack, right? It's something that I wouldn't really call common here. But apparently we have Yampy in the form of Dex right now in our Valorant lobby. Love seeing this. As the spam not going to come out, and I think Dex has the ability to wallbang that, and I don't know if it's going to do full damage, but it would do something quite large if they're going to go ahead and swing that. Look at how aggressive the Omen's already gotten in B main. Or, I'm sorry, the Sova's already gotten in B main, and they have not been able to spot the KJ. This is going to be extremely dangerous if they swing.
Dangerous on multiple fronts. Somehow Renobos wins the first fight, goes down to 11 HP, and wins the second as well. And only a 1-for-1 trade for Comedic leaves us into a 2v4. Cooling Chimp trying to retake some positional advantage. A flash for Chrome. He'll walk in, somehow still lose the fight to Ant, who then kills their teammate with a fragment. Chaos across the board. And a fairly quick round, all things considered, yet it's still one that Kaiser's able to take advantage of.
And I love the hard default right there coming out of Keiser as well. Like, they've been kind of trying to 5-man really push that tempo up mid. Last couple rounds, you know, it did work the previous one, but I mean, Stockton was able to take 4 off you, right? So what do? We hard default, we still send that jet up mid, acting like we're doing the same thing, but you get 2 to kind of lurk on A. You're just able to kind of change that momentum and change the cadence of the round into your favor. You're able to find the frags because of it.
Tyler's in.
Yeah.
Tailwind used immediately, but he's been utility put on towards that A side. The lurk working for Dex, they'll find some early advantage. Will they clear out Hell? Morgiana checks it, will win the fight, and all is fair in Love and Wars. Morgiana finds a nice opening as well. It's a decent start, all things considered, for Keiser. Yes, they have lost 4 in a row to open up the map, but they've sustained back and made this a more than reasonable half. Already a 1-round gap, assuming they don't throw away a future dive.
Yeah, and I mean, the more we see it, the more it's looking less likely as Chrome is going to be here just sitting in the smoke. They're going to go ahead and just double down on that one, make sure that the other one doesn't disappear in time. There is the 0 point as well, going to spot it. Oh my, just the util combinations there. As Cooling Chimp, you do have a rifle in your hands. You only have $1,200. Are you going to bail on this? Looking for exits. Able to get a little bit of value out of this, but going to have to run off. It's going to be another round won by Cup, and as much as we talked about the first 4 in a row, we're not going to be able to talk about much more than that. As Chimp's able to find 2 and at least get the guns off of them, but Dex with that operator going to find their second kill of the round as well. And now we talked about those first 4. We're not able to see it through for Stockton. It's going to be 4-3, and Kaiser's on the way back.
All I'm saying is that Stockton has really lost wind as soon as Keiser picked up full weaponry and utility. Yes, round 3, Keiser had Vandals across the board. They did have to take some concessions in terms of abilities available. That hasn't been the case for the last few rounds, and nor has Stockton winning been the case for those same periods of time. This is becoming a little bit of a problem that they're not able to solve. The attacking side for Keiser took a little bit of a hiatus, and just like the semester ending, they're back from the break. Or semester starting, back from the break. This is not looking good for Stockton, but now is the time they can set things back into motion. Now is better than ever.
Now is the time as the Flood looking to go ahead. Another B split coming out. Are you going to be able to get any value out of those mollies? The answer is no. Morgiana is going to open that one up. PJ is going to be able to get the trade. Look at the two coming from the potential flank here. Is anybody isolated? There's going to be one in Boathouse just waiting. And oh my, okay, they're still on lane. They're somehow surviving. They haven't checked this. Oh, I'm sorry, that's red. Again, my red-green color blindness. I need Deuteronomy on this right now. I know it's not Deuteronomy, Deuteranopia, to help me out because these colors are looking awfully similar on the mini-map. It's going to be strong control coming out, plus a lockdown used by Keiser just to kind of secure some time here, of course, for this. It might actually just entirely be the round. 4v4. We're going to see any more bloodshed, I guess, is the real question.
It would have to be a W key almost immediately. Now, granted, there is low HP, and that seems to be the case here for Stockton. A kill lost. No, it's actually a kill found, but they do go 1 for 1. Again, low HP for Renobos. That may very well be the deciding factor, but he still is able to find the pre-fire spray, and Ant goes for 2 of his own. Just like that, Keiser, blink and you miss it. They go from 4 down to dead even. We're tied at 4 apiece.
It's just the momentum. It's the ability to go ahead and trade. And also, like, I'm kind of wondering why we haven't seen Stockton really contest mid yet. We've seen them hit it. I want to say we've been through 8 rounds now. About 5 of the rounds, we've been seeing a mid split, right? And yeah, we got an alarm bot there, and we may have gotten a molly there, but we really haven't gotten anything else. It's kind of surprising when, you know, they're collapsing that hard on it. And that's an area that you can hold a crossfire and actually be successful at. And just not kind of doing that right now. It kind of leaves me questioning, as they did push mid the 1 round. But that was the 1 round where nobody actually went there. It was the default where we saw A be extremely successful. So Stockton has to change something up here, and it seems like Keiser has basically the response as Chimp's going to swing out of this. This is wild. Able to find 1. Are you able to find more? Some chip damage done, but nothing else.
It is still 1 for 1, and again, reasonable. Tailwind into a cloudburst. Chrome spray, however, won't land, and the door closed right in front of their face. This is not an easy retake by any means. B-side of Ascent rivals that of Bind, albeit not by all that much, but it is still a difficult subject to take. A null command surprisingly popped, even on just a set of sheriffs, and it doesn't look like it's going to go their way. Up in the air, Morgiana goes skeet shooting down as Tyler falls. And that's it. Yeah, Glitch just following up. Even the 4v5 goes their way.
Yeah, it just kind of is what it is right there. You're looking at the difference in economy really making the difference there in that round. Not really much to say. It was a solid take. I mean, the Sova is able to go ahead and get that opening pick kind of creeping through the smoke. Unfortunately, that is a one and done angle. You are not getting out with your life after that. And the Sova being able to take that angle kind of removes your ability to have any retake ability as well, because you're on sheriffs. You don't have anything else but a dart. The recon bolt is free, right? So if you hold out and retake together, maybe throw that into the site, you have a little bit more opportunity than maybe you would have otherwise. Quick dash here from Morgiana, though, to open out this round. One's going to be pinged.
Okay.
Find 1.
Okay.
Find 2. Going to be off by Tyler through the smoke. I don't know if they saw a glimpse of him before that happened, but a great shot by Tyler. At least going to take out Morgiana, who was just tearing up everything at the beginning of that round. Very quick hit. And Cooling Chip going to be able to find 1 here as well. Now it's a 3v3 after that explosive intro.
Wait, and Renobos is on 10 HP. I think both of those Hunter's Fury found Renobos as well, but they were being healed in the process or something along those lines. Flash through, Ant finds both, but somehow blinds himself and his teammate. Renobos dies behind on such low HP, and Tyler's mouse 1 hold ends up working in his favor. We're tied once more. No team able to find that distance they were looking for. Stockton, they tried to cross the hurdle, and Keiser shut him down, and as soon as Keiser finds a lead, well, it's back the other way.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen 4 rounds in a row, 5 rounds in a row. Does that mean, you know, Stockton makes a run right here to kind of finish out the half? If everything else holds, it may be the case. I think, honestly, you talked about that 140 damage. I think it was 80 from the Hunter's Fury, and I think it was 70 from the wall, or basically the collateral from that original op shot. I think they were behind trying to open up the site, because if you get hit with 2 Hunter's Furies, it's 160 damage. Just to be quite honest with you, there's no way to get half damage on that Hunter's Fury. So I think it might have been a collat from that side, or maybe just some crossfire from heaven or something crazy like that. But Not going to be able to see much here as the B being felt out and immediately kind of abandoned as mid is being taken hard and Tyler has to give up his operating position. Still going to hold it though, but unfortunately being smoked out, he's going to have to hold a deeper cross than maybe he would have liked, as some mid control going to be taken here by Keiser.
What do you do here if you're Keiser? You've lost a round, you maybe lost your momentum off the back of it. This is where they just press the stop and hold button. They are waiting a heck of a lot longer than they have in multiple rounds prior. This is the only bit of information they're giving over, and it really is just that owl drone swing through. Tyler wasn't even originally looking in that direction, but is able to flick back. Morgiana taken care of. Opening duel does go the way of Stockton. They've been really good in that department in this game.
They certainly have. And, oh, this double hold here as well. Great double swing coming out from Comedic. Tyler's going to be able to find one through the smoke again. Somebody check his PC. He's going wild right now, and Stockton rips off 2 in a row. Might be able to get to 7-5 here. We're seeing a little shooting of bodies, too. Maybe it'll be him feeling about how Bind went. Maybe they're just letting out that pent-up frustration.
This is, I gotta say, a little surprising for Stockton, though. They're following up on their opening kills. They were picking up what they had issues doing in the previous map, and more importantly, they are playing distant yet present map control in the earlier stages of the round. That's the most important aspect of it. They really had some problems with that map control aspect of their game, albeit on the defensive side back in map number 1, because they only played 3 rounds of it and 2 of them were clutches. But on their offensive side, they had difficulties taking that map control early. Now that they already have it, they're able to comfortably walk forward and take advantage of it. And Dex, I believe, has either just seen 2 or seen nothing, and may have that same information. Chrome's holding him. Tyler's holding the other side. Cat. Where's that timing? Flash is out here for Chrome. When's the smoke drop? That's the other question. Luckily, we didn't know when it went up, but there's still that mechanic that shows you. Doesn't matter. Dex dies elsewhere.
Certainly doesn't matter. I think that smoke's going to be basically refreshed. No, it's finally going to drop, but basically a great job right here of Stockton actually being aggressive mid. We had 4 people peeking out in that direction, ready to trade, ready to pop out of that smoke, ready to make a difference as everybody kind of stacked up on the A site right now. You're going to smoke the entrance, and the entrance has got to be smoked right here. They already threw that initial smoke down. It's going to be blocked off. Good second smoke here from the offense to go ahead and try to get people onto site, and it's just going to be a full back off and a 5v4 retake essentially after the spike goes down. Door actually going to be shot out as well, so they want to push the issue here and potentially get some value.
Lockdown early. Hunter's Fury is available, but they're actually going to walk through and try and take it by themselves. No utility required. 1 for 1 early. Make it 2 for 2. There's the walk-in. They don't account for catwalk, and 2 players there just end the round themselves. Lockdown itself was just the intimidation factor. It didn't even have time to prime. It is Stockton to take the first half. They go up 7-5 after only picking up 3 rounds total. Actually 2. Back on map number 1. That is the start they've been looking for.
Certainly the start they've been looking for, and my question is now, like, can they continue this onto offense, right? We saw good passive taking of space. Are they going to continue to kind of default play a little bit slower and kind of let Keiser come to them? And maybe this was a problem in the first 4 rounds of kind of overconfidence coming out from Keiser, knowing that, you know, Bind was obviously there. It was Stockton's map pick, but Ascent might be something that they're extremely comfortable with just because every single college Valorant team plays this map in some form or fashion basically every week.
I'm surprised. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Stockton really turning things around from mirror comps in both maps. The only thing that really changed was, well, I mean, the sides they start on and the maps themselves. And Stockton, that defense starting off well was the most important part. They had a streak to close it. They now have momentum into the second half. A pistol round here would really cement that momentum forward. The problem is, it seems to be a very one-dimensional pistol for them. Everybody walking up A main, they've got a smoke going far, and everybody's already surrounded the site here for Keiser. That's my main concern. It'll be a full 5v5, and the spike just now going down. They've already lost 1 member.
But Comedic's gonna find 2, including a wallbang, and there's 1 more in hell that hasn't even been cleared yet. This is a wild round right now. Dex gets 2 there with the classic. Are you gonna be able to find more? It's 1v2. PJ's able to find a kill. 47 health to their name. The right click does it. Somebody nerf the classic. It goes sicko mode right there for PJ. Able to find 3 with some right clicks.
Free gun, by the way. That's all I have to say. Stockton find 8. They go 4 in a row for the 2nd time this game, and they will take full advantage of that heavily attacker-sided pistol round stat. Again, just nearly 55% of the time it goes the attacker's way here, and they take full advantage of it. They go 2 for 2 on pistols. They do the same thing Keiser did back in map number 1, but do they streak afterwards here in the second half? That's the question. Keiser just doesn't buy. That's the more important part. They've got nothing other than what, 2 sheriffs.
I can't say I blame them either. You know, it kind of comes down to being one of those things where you're like, hey, you know, they got the plant down. We lost a lot of guns. Oh, comedic. Okay, yeah, just shred them with an Odin, why don't you? No buys, no purchases, nothing to really hold on to here. Might as well go for broke and see if you can get anybody. But chip damage, not even really found here either. I mean, we have cooling chimp here with an Ares. We have an Odin and light shields on the other side. Like, what do you do in this scenario when you're just staring down the barrel of the paper mache walls that are Ascent?
This is weird, albeit 1 kill found onto PJ, but that should be about it. Barring some divine intervention, I mean, find whatever god you pray to and hope that Keiser can pick this one up if you're a fan of them, but it doesn't seem to let. 1 kill already picked up, Glitch is left alone. A pistol, 10 HP, a dream, sorry, 11 HP, and a nightmare. Make it down to 1. Yeah, that'll do it. Stockton back-to-back, make it a 5-round streak. And Keiser having some problems here in Ascent, and they gotta solve them sooner rather than later with this bye.
And I mean, you have an Odin coming into a bonus run. Oh, it's Ascent, right? So maybe you get some counter spam going. Obviously, no Odin going to be bought on the other side by Glitch. Actually, there it is coming through. Forces everybody onto light shields, though. So chip damage here, of course, for the offense, going to be that much more important. If you can start chipping away, maybe those lesser guns will be able to do more. And you're going to be looking at the Odin, of course, and the Ares to be doing that. And they're in prime position here to spray the spray back, essentially. There's the opening part, and there it is, the response. The paper mache wall is being used and abused right now by Stockton, able to go ahead and find the opening kill.
I'm already not liking this if I'm on the perspective of Keiser. This is your full gun round. You have information given over, you are losing most of the B site, and more importantly, your information is gone. You only have the KO to gain some, and arguably your killjoy if you count that for some information gathering an alarm bot or the turret. But even then, this rotation over to A, you don't have a heck of a lot here, except for your guns. It is going to be a game of Counter-Strike on one side and Valorant on the other.
That's always a difficult situation to be in, right? Especially when you're rocking the light shields. Now, they do work differently, of course. It's going to be a nice fragment as well just to get it away. Going to be a recon bolt comboed, so they don't know Renobos is here as the smoke is going to come out. But look at the flood onto the B site, and Comedic already has this as well, pushing into CT potentially, just hiding in this smoke with the with the Odin. This is going to be dangerous, though, because all 3 members are on that side currently. If they stay and they fight this together, and Odin might go down, and you open up an opportunity for Cup on the 4v5 retake to potentially get this as they smartly fall off. Does Comedic as one on the flank, as you can see over there. Ant taking it low and slow, being out of that Killjoy turret's range.
That's the question. Odin does damage, but will not find an immediate kill, but it does still go 1 for 1, and unfortunately Chrome caught looking the other direction, losing that member, ended up being lethal to his teammate, and PJ alone in Boathouse. Tyler caught by the 0 point and the paranoia, but the spray from a distance make this a 1v2. 1 picked up with the Odin, the spray for the second, somehow the information not conveyed, and Tyler picks up 3. Stockton going to double digits, and we have ourselves a series here, Visionary.
We certainly do, and I mean, after the first map, we weren't too sure about seeing Icebox, but it's looking like it is going to happen right now. I mean, 10-5. Talk about violent swings, right? 13-2 on one map. Right now, Stockton holds after 3 rounds in a row. And that's every bonus round has been converted as well. Like, this is just a very odd situation of circumstances that we don't really see too much time to light.
I'm very shocked, especially in comparison to map number 1. I was thinking, oh, it's Ascent. Everybody and their mother plays it. If they can win buying by that much, they'll definitely win Ascent, arguably by the same amount. Not the case here. I gotta say, I'll be honest, I underestimated them coming into this game, them being Stockton, but this is a very welcome surprise from my point of view, and a surprising showing that they've really needed. 1 for 1 start. Sheriff does pick up at least something to make this an arguable round. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but it's still going to be extremely difficult with lesser weaponry.
Yeah, they caught us in the first half, not gonna lie, but right now map number 2 looking a very certain way as PJ actually has to swing out of this, gonna get flashed as well. Somehow gets out with his life there after being suppressed as well. Tyler gonna be able to get 1, gonna be found. Now Cup is coming back with the Sheriff's 3v1. Do you have the opportunity here, Chrome? Fragment already been used, down to 40 HP. 1 Sheriff shot will do it. His guns are also retrieved. Spike not planted for him either. He's gonna have to swing this violently and aggressively, and he's able to take it. Chrome able to take the 1v1, and Stockton gonna go up 11-5.
It is close but no cigar in back-to-back rounds for Keiser. We could be looking at a very reasonable 7-9 scenario, but instead, the 2-round swing favors Stockton by a distance, and that difference really shows. Tyler picking up a multi-frag, doing the same for Chrome, as ironically enough, the bottom fragger of the team still having a very participatory game, and Keiser just falling short a few times over, and in fairly short order at that. That is 7 rounds in a row for Stockton, and a much different team, even compared to what we saw in the first half, much less the first map.
Not disagreeing with you at all. A nice little jump spot here. Not going to be able to land the op shot as Morgiana, and they know that this is here. It should be a back off scenario. It might be a flash coming out, and it is. Another shot going to be taken. Nothing going to be found, as it looks like mid is going to be the point of contention right now. Omen is currently playing there. PJ just kind of lurking around the box here in bottom mid, just trying to find anything at all. Renobos just trying to get a jump spot, not really able to find much either. And we kind of just hit the waiting period of this. We know that an operator was on B. They're going to go ahead and heavy rotate that operator already over to the A side. We're going to see if the right call is made here and Stockton can make the read, or if the defensive adjustments are going to work out in favor of Keiser here.
The defensive adjustments have at least given them some information, but the main problem they've had is map control. A lack of control in mid, at least a lack of presence or information in mid. And that's the problem they've really run into. When that rotation went back over to B last round, they had no idea it was going early. When it went back over to A 2 rounds prior, that's not the information they had. Dex goes 1 for 1, that's all they can surmount, and nobody's here on A. That lack of information, as ironic as it may seem, ends up coming back to bite them once more. The lockdown will go through, and Heaven presence is there, but a retake again on the cards and required of Keiser.
Not only that, you have an operator on the retake as well, and that's a good, that's a good nano swarm as well, just to kind of open some area up. Morgiana here looking to make some her presence felt with the op, and Morgiana is able to do it with the jet cooling chip now. Kind of on both sides. PG's actually going to return fire, and Lurk Heaven going to go down as well. 2v2 now. Comedic. Location known, but Glitch here with 24 HP. You can shoot him in the toe and he won't live. The dart coming out, some chip damage done, but nothing found. We get 12 right now for Stockton. And it looked like a great opportunity for Keiser to come back through, and somehow, some way, Stockton just keeps pulling out these rounds.
3 consecutive rounds where Keiser arguably has the advantage, and yet they're not able to just cross the hump of actually winning the round itself. I'm very surprised that that kill, at least originally onto Cooling Chimp, wasn't picked up. I love the rotation from Cooling Chimp. Find the kill and then back away as you do so and move all the way forward towards Hell. At least get yourself away from the position you had been noted in prior, but that's a really surprising notion, at least if I'm in the perspective of Keiser. 12-5, 8 consecutive rounds, and this is just a different team. Did they not switch sides and we actually accidentally switched the graphics and the team names and the compositions and everything? No. Chrome just goes walking in, but he does get dropped.
I was kind of thinking that was an overheat scenario, and that's actually a solo push. Morgiana gonna be able to find 2 with the Blade Storm once again. Ant's actually gonna be able to find the double there. The third kill was actually the Chrome that he had already taken down in tree, so it wasn't 3 that he sprayed down, thankfully, there with that Guardian, but Cut somehow roars back there with a Guardian in hand, kind of a scuffed by. They're able to snap through it. They're gonna have 2 rifles at a minimum, and Morgiana on that Blade Storm really made that early presence felt to kind of get them the round.
I gotta say, end of the day, I'm surprised for Keiser. That's the round they pick up. I mean, maybe the little hesitancy around, oh yeah, we'll just face against map point and tease them with Icebox, and then we're just gonna go 8 straight of our own and pick up the game itself. Actually, it would have to be 9 straight into OT, but you get the idea. I think it's a possibility. I don't think it's all that likely, but it's possible.
Certainly is. Is that mid control going to be go ahead and used again as Cooling Chimp looks to get into tree with his drone? Not going to be able to have enough battery, I believe, to get in there. No, it's going to be snuffed out by the smoke. So not a lot of information really found on both sides just yet. Some pre-firing early, obviously a shoulder check by Ant to let people know that, you know, hey, there's a couple in tile. Really nothing else. We're kind of just at that waiting stage. And it's really going to be, do you have the right read? 3 lingering towards B right now. Of course, all the Killjoy utility is going to be on A, and Ant is going to have an immediate answer to Cooling Chimp. Going to take him out, and now it's looking like some dynamicism, some reads are coming out, and they're actually working here in Keiser's favor.
Opening pick, you have some momentum. This is a dangerous Keiser University team if I'm looking at this from the perspective of Stockton. Also, losing your Jet, who's been a losing your Sova, who's been a very pivotal part of your game thus far, has made things even more difficult. They do still have the same amount of control they would otherwise. And again, it's very passive play here from Keiser, but it seems like that's their playstyle. They don't want to put themselves out of comfortability, and you can see exactly why. Renobos finds no one extra, but they'll fall directly after.
And Tyler going to be spotted here on site. You've almost run out of time here. Morgiana's going to be able to just sit here. 10 seconds left, not able to secure the spray. Do you have... Oh, the spike is down. Is that it? I believe it is. They're not going to be able to have time to go ahead and get this down. Oh my, at 0.0, there's a swing. Tyler with 11 HP somehow still surviving. The double swing on one side, going to be able to end the dreams right there of Stockton to close the round out. That's a crazy first shot by Tyler, and I can't believe he got that plant down. It was honestly, my vision, right? It was already past 4. I thought it was wraps.
11 hundredths of a second was the last time that I saw on the top of the screen. So very, very close, and about as close as it could have gotten. I'm surprised they let him put the spike down. They were probably under the same pretext as you. They were like, oh yeah, it's after 4 seconds. There's no way he gets it down. We don't have to swing. It's a bait so we can get the picks. But no, actually, surprisingly enough, got the spike down. Doesn't matter though. It is only 1 kill found afterwards, and Keiser still will pick up a second. No team has won an individual round on its own thus far in this specific map. It only happened twice back in map number 1 when Stockton won their 2 isolated rounds, but it has been streaks and only streaks. Stockton would have to find an isolated round to close it in regulation if they want it.
I mean, apparently we're going through the quad and into the gymnasium right now. Is that 0 point not going to be able to find anything? The dash not going to be found either. Jumping through, and there is just a small peak right there in between the 2 cloud bursts that are able to be found. And Ant, of course, going to find that shot. Good flash as well. Ant sprays down 1. Deck's going to combine with it, and this is just falling on its face. Of course, it was an eco from Stockton, so going with a rush towards street definitely makes sense, but 2 are going to be holding right here as well, and that's going to be a great shot by Comedic. The jump across, unfortunately the swing not there. Glitch is going to be able to find 2, much like they did in the previous rounds of Bind, and it's going to be 12-8 now, and now it's Keiser on that roll. Is it going to be another, 6 rounds in a row to maybe close this one out? I'm losing my mind right now at the swings that are so blatant in this game, Time to Light.
Back when Counter-Strike was still MR15, or 15 rounds per half and 16 required to win, if a team was coming back, the time I started to get concerned was about the 10-round mark. In MR12, it's about 8 or 9. If Keiser win this round, and they do so comfortably, not only does it force Stockton to either save or force buy not very well again, but it'll also put them 2 full force buys or full buys away from taking it into OT. That doesn't particularly help, nor does that. Comedic goes for 3, and it seems like Stockton's done with Ascent. They want nothing more to do with the 2nd most played map in the competitive pool.
Mother of God, Cosmic. How do you pull that one out? 3 people. No. And Ant has an answer of their own. We're just back and forth. There's a 4th right there for Comedic. Are you going to be able to find the shots? The ace stolen, but nobody cares. Cooling Chimp able to shut it down. And from what looked like another run going to happen, it's 1 singular round won by Stockton, and we get to see Icebox for the first time in a hot minute. I have seen it in ranked. I have not seen actual good teams go at it in a hot minute. And I'm excited to see what's going to be brought, because the last time we were watching Icebox, we were seeing no duelist comps. 0 duelist. Omen was basically playing the main duelist. We'd have multiple initiators, multiple smokes. I'm interested to see, with the limited changes that were made in the map, what's actually going to be brought out.
Okay, so of the 50 times Icebox has been played in the last 90 days, aka basically since the map came out in published games, the most common 5 agents: Viper, Jet, Sova, Killjoy, and a Sage. And we may very well see a Harbor, Arena, or a Sky as well. All of those are very more than likely. Above 10% of the time you see them, it's possible. But it is a new map to the pool again, and again, it's also a new team for Keiser in comparison to last semester. So I gotta say, there's a lot still up in the air. I just want to see the agent select. If we didn't have to go to a break, I'd say let's just go, but...
Absolutely. I mean, and you have to give all the props in the world to Stockton too, just able to go ahead and bring that back after being demolished on Bind. And I'm not trying to put or throw shade or do anything like that, but 13-2, you got riggedy wrecked on that map. I'm sorry, but able to have the mental to be able to come back, go up 13-5, only drop a couple rounds and be able to kind of curb stomp that momentum out that Keiser was starting to build. It definitely feels good. And I mean, I need to give my voice a break after that one. A lot of surprising stuff happening on day one in Valorant. And this is just week one at ECAC. There's going to be 7 more weeks of this kind of play coming to you. But for now, to a break. After that, Icebox. Hello and welcome back to ECAC Valorant. My name is Visionary One. Alongside me for this wild ride of a best of 3 series is Time to Light. We've seen 2 maps. They have been wildly different. A 13-2 on Bind followed by a 13-8 on Ascent. We now go to Icebox, which just re-emerged basically last month back into the competitive map pool, and we finally get to see it. Time to Light, I think you said it was April of 22 was the last time you've casted Icebox?
No, April of 2023, but April 22nd of 2023 was the last time I cast Icebox. It was removed the week later. It has not been in the pool since then until it was, well, re-added the last couple of weeks. I gotta say, it has been, we'll say, a funny first couple of maps. 13-2 one way, 13-8 back the other. And I gotta say, Comedic has been the one at the reins for Stockton. That last few set of kills was just a joke. The way they find all 3 of them.
Yeah, he shouldn't have. That's for darn sure. And I'll give you a little golf clap on the dad joke. Definitely love to see that. But
it went a lot better in my head.
No, it's all good. No, I mean, like, we'll see. It's always up to chat to depend on which of our jokes are good, right? So, I mean, we have Icebox. We've seen so many different compositions, right? We've seen yours brought out recently. You got your wish, and it's going to be Morgiana on the Harbor. Played Duelist the first 2 maps, now switching over to the Harbor, going to be playing Aquaman, as you like to call him, the water bender, so to speak, and we're actually going to see a no Duelist comp coming out of Keiser, and they locked that instantly. They are ready to get on the Icebox. Stockton, probably talking about this a little bit more, and a little bit more classic and conventional composition as well, seeing that Sage being brought out here for Icebox.
Yeah, I'm going to say both of these are not abnormal. It does depend kind of on what Chrome picks. I'd be surprised if they go with Arena here. It would be the first time we see Arena. They have played the KO already, and they will stick the KO. That is the most uncommon of the agents played in this round. But I got to say, I'm a little disappointed in the pick for Keiser. Not in the fact they're picking the Harbor, but in who's picking the Harbor. In the information, again, that we were given before the game itself started, Slim, the coach for the Keiser squad, Renobos, if anybody is aware of them, is a prior competitive state swimmer and water polo player. They self-proclaimed Aquaman. Unfortunately, instead of Aquaman playing Harbor, the only one that really uses water other than Sage on a technicality in this game, it's Morgiana who plays Harbor, which is a shame. But they're still the Harbor, which is what I care about.
I'm excited to see Harbor, and we were talking about it, during the break, that Cove really replaces a lot of what Sage is used for, which is basically, okay, we're going to wall B so we can actually have a safe plant. Well, with Harbor, you get more lines to cut off, and not only that, if your Viper dies on a lurk through mid or whatever they're trying to do, you still have a full wall to go ahead and use and hit the A site if you're there as well. So I feel like Harbor brings a lot more dynamic opportunities to be used on this map versus a Sage that basically has one job, and that is to get a wall down so you can plant.
So the exact composition for Stockton has only been played 3 times in recorded Icebox history on this set of Icebox. And it's only won 1 of those 3 times. It's not a great show, but out of the gates, they're trying to go through quickly. The problem is a quick re-engagement through mid does not help your case, and to make matters worse, Renova still has full control of the yellow box, and a flank going through doesn't mean a heck of a lot when you don't have that same level of support on the other side. Morgiana finds their second nice headshot, and I'm not going to say it, but that's basically the round. Yeah, the spike still, that's the glass half full, but that's about it.
Yeah, not really much going on there. I mean, you might be able to lurk mid, find a couple kills here, but Spike hasn't actually dropped yet, so I wonder oh my, okay, the stampede of Keiser is happening right now, going back to A. This is actually being read. I'm kind of confused why they go back and don't drop the spike, but you know what? We're gonna let them ball. Everybody going up through spawn into A. PJ not gonna be found. The wall is going to be up here, so it's going to be a little separation in between both of these teams. Now only 34 seconds remaining. You kind of have to worry about time coming into play. If you get a couple of just picks at the right time. And right now the flood is coming on, and it's going to be Raps. That is the full hit coming up from Cup. They're able to secure that round. And once again, I am confused about who's on offense. I thought for certain that it was going to be Cup, who looked like they were pushing. They really looked like the aggressors that round because of the push out of tube into mid.
So I'll bring up stats for one of the final times thus far today. Icebox, albeit, is a little swayed because it has not been played all that many times. Only 52 recorded playings of this map, which is only 1.62% of all data. But it's still fairly well picked since its release back into the pool. The attacking side only wins 42.31% of those pistol rounds. The defense, just shy of 58% of the time, they'll pick up the pistol. And the defense's conversion rate is sitting at about 83%. The attacks is 93, should they win it later on. This is looking pretty good for Keiser, but could be worse. Somehow Tyler doesn't get caught by that second snake plate. They are very lucky to be alive.
Oh, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. As Ant's going to be able to find the first pick, but the spike is going to be dropped. And Cooling Chimp, nice couple of headshots here with the classic free gun BT dubs once again, but the full blind from Ant going to go ahead and remove that presence there. 4v2 now, the flood retake coming on for Keiser, where you see they're going to be able to find anything. Renovo's going to go ahead and get one here as well. Ant's going to find another one combined with Morgiana, and yeah, it's going to be a solid 2-0. But again, you get yourself $300 for the team for planting the spike. Definitely a good rush, a good plant. You maybe wish you would have gotten 1 or 2 more guns off of Cup here, but overall, Stockton's going to be able to have at least some utility coming in to buy this round.
Yeah, if they're looking at this, they are happy with the spike plant. They're a little upset they didn't win the round, and maybe that they didn't buy as much, considering they got the spike planted. But at the end of the day, it is still the spike plant, and more than you could have hoped for and or expected to start. Barring a miracle, you're not winning that round. I hate to be the pessimistic person, but it's just not going to happen with that type of pistols. They kind of know it. They're playing under the guise of, yeah, we will probably just get a spike plant here, and now they have the better weaponry. It is a single Bulldog and Vandals across the board up against, I believe, just a single Vandal, and Bulldogs plural, a Spectre singular, and a Sheriff singular. This is not a great buy for Keiser. Not a reasonable scenario to say they can't win the bonus, but I said the same thing for Stockton, and then they did, so I don't know.
I mean, we've seen, I believe, every single bonus round converted so far. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Like, if everything holds true, it's gonna be very difficult for Stockton to go ahead and get an offense kind of generated when you're gonna be down a gun. However, lots of feeling out here. A lot of early pressure applied towards mid by Keiser here. Not able to find anybody. No real true lurks coming out. Still 2 people in mid right now, just trying to figure out where the push is coming from. You see this kind of pinch angle that's being held both from Maze and Rafters. Might be dangerous, but one's going to go ahead and drop down. It's going to be Morgiana, of course, on that harbor there on A. Going to throw the cove out just to try to delay for another second or two. Looking like this is going to end up being an A hit, but it's pretty well read. 3 are going to be there currently, and the wall as well. Is Morgiana going to be spotted here? It's going to be dangerous, and they're going to be taken out by Comedic, who did work in the last game being the MVP. Here's a good swing coming out from Dex. Trades all over the place. Now at 3v3, Spike not down, and the site has been flooded by both sides. This is going to be dangerous right here for Stockton. They're going to need to pull it out, and a great flash coming out as well. Glitch going to be able to capitalize, and now it's Cup. Yeah, this is going to be pretty much wraps. Chrome able to find 1. Now a 2v1. Chrome, you have 7 seconds to work with. You have to get the spike down as well. The fake going to come out. Gets 1, does not get the second. Good job of playing together, and Keiser going to be able to take the bonus, and every single bonus round has been won here in this best of 3.
Yeah, Keiser's gone 3 for 5 on pistols. They have won every single conversion round after and every single bonus. Same for Stockton, but with 2 pistols, 2 conversions, and 2 bonuses. And I gotta say, if the stats hold true, Keiser's looking pretty good for the second half of this, because no team has lost the pistol in a map in which they had already won the first half pistol. Some generic stats, but I also have to say, Keiser in that round much quicker to re-engage on the A side after even losing that first death onto Morgiana than I was expecting. As soon as you lose your harbor there, usually you want to readjust, but losing the controller, at least one of the 2, they were thinking, yeah, let's just go. Might as well send it. Dex does just that, wins the first fight, and you kept getting trades back and forth until that 3v2 ended up favoring Keiser rather than going against them.
Yeah, and it always just comes down to that one thing, like, look how long you get to hold this Viper wall in. It is set up for A, right? And we're going to go ahead and see that wall that's being thrown across 410. Not much value to be found just yet, as Morgiana once again going to be spotted by something. There's a good swing. Cooling Chimp going to be taken down by Morgiana. Here's a good push as well. Dash on to site, but not going to be able to find it. Morgiana trying to hold on for dear life, and now it's a 3v3 once again, but Glitch has things to say about this, as Ant is going to be able to get one as well. And just as quick as it started, it's going to end. It's going to be, once again, Keiser getting around, and if we see anything like a Sen, it's going to be Stockton ripping off 5 for literally no reason after this.
I mean, I feel like that's just been the chain of events. They've been going for consistency. in almost every time we've seen a map played, the team who's supposed to win the pistol does so in the first half. The team that isn't supposed to win the pistol in the second half does so anyway. And then Keiser's just been putting together streaks regardless of how Stockton's been doing. It has been a very back and forth game. I honestly could say, if Stockton wins 13-4 here, I wouldn't be all that shocked considering the climate of the series.
It's just sways back and forth. It's about as decisive as a hurricane wind. It's swirling all over the place. It's going to be a good flash coming out here. Cooling Chimp going to be able to find Renobos here, who's been mainly a controller player for most of the time, now playing on Killjoy's glitch. Going to be able to find PJ lurking up mid. And now, this is just going to be a bloodbath onto B. You do have the Sage. You are able to get the plant down. We're also going to see, of course, the Reckoning used on one side. Morgiana able to find two, make it three.
What?
Hello?
You take full advantage of it, and you send everybody out of position, it works. Tyler going to the back of the yellow box. It's Morgiana's fourth. And it's Keiser finally breaking the streak of ironic streaks broken. 5-0 in the first half of Icebox, and Morgiana is 11-2 in that time. A 2.2 KPR to open the game. That's gross.
Yeah, that's a little bit more than average. To put it in the most underhanded way possible.
Yeah, what, 2.2 KPR, a 5.5 KD, and they're playing a controller role on Icebox that has usually a single duelist, if none at all. That's insane.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't really say much about it. Morgiana, obviously their duelist before opting for the no duelist comp here as we have a rush down onto the B side. Renovo is going to have to bail out. So we're going to go ahead and see potentially a plant going down here. Tyler able to push onto the site. Good use of the fragment there, just to delay for a minute. Knife going to get a bunch of people here as well. Is there a gap in that wall? It appears that there might be, and no. Plant's going to be down safely. 5v5 retake on this B site, and this is always so difficult to hold, especially after your Sage Ball has already basically been taken out.
Yeah, it's the information. That's the game that this one comes down to. Renobos' position is found. Hunter's Fury surprisingly not used afterwards. The spray down, however, lands onto Tyler, and that forward position dispatched of quickly. Hunter's Fury now going to be committed. The spike is not stuck to half. That's the most important part. But with that Hunter's Fury committed, that means there's not extra help. And with the lack of information, the lack of help, and honestly the lack of manpower at this point is Cooling Chimp alone. They can't even deny the spike defuse the second time around. One player dies for Keiser as they pick up a sixth and a confident one at that.
You know, for some reason, and this is just a gut feeling, like this feels like Loud versus Fnatic right now in that last map, that iconic last map of lock-in. Like, we have Keiser just dominating everything right now, and soon enough, we're gonna see Stockton be able to, you know, get back up on their feet, take a couple, and we're gonna see something crazy. I can just feel it. I could be totally wrong, and if I am, chat, go ahead and crucify me, because Keiser is in full control of this game. They are stockpiling dollars like they're Jeff Bezos at this point. And Ant getting a little aggressive there, not able to get much there, as we're going to go ahead and we're going to see that null command used here as well. And Morgiana, can you miss a shot?
No missing shots. Sorry, not happening. Morgiana will pick up 13. They are continually climbing on that KD trek. Decent bit of damage to the wall, but not a heck of a lot to write home about. Viper's Pit will be used, and Morgiana has the ult available again. I don't know if they're going to use it. Yeah, they will. Surprisingly enough, just holding W in off the back of it. But will it work? That's the real question. Everybody forced out of position. One found. Make it a second. Morgiana just counting the frags at this point, and low HP for Cooling Chimp. It is a 4-piece for the second time in just 3 rounds, and Keiser go up 7-0. That's a statement if I've seen one.
On the back of the Reckoning, and they're already almost halfway to the next one. Reckoning's only a 7-point ult. They have 3 of them already. Once again, 16-2. You were talking about kills per round. Well, now it's up to like slightly down, right? To like 2.12.
It's actually gone up.
Oh, it has? I guess you're right.
1/7 is 0.14.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So, caster math for you. Appreciate that, Time Delight. I didn't study accounting or anything in college, but we're gonna move on here. It's gonna
the
be
joke is he studied accounting in college.
Yeah, that is the joke. Is I actually was an accountant, but we do logic. We don't do math. That's what we have Excel for. Is this is gonna be an early push down the mid two for Ant. Gonna be able to potentially. Oh, the little rat angle. Wow. The PJ gonna be able to find that. And Renobos gets comedic trying to skedaddle out of sight there, and now 3v2, and this round was just an initial barrage of offense followed by just about nothing else right now as the mid fights are taken, and PJ's going to make this a 2v2, and this is where it gets interesting now. Like 1 HP right now, of course, on Chrome, not a lot to work with. And Renovos with a filthy angle. The pre-fire going to be there. PJ.
No way.
Were they were able to secure the spike.
They're both on 1. They're both on 5 health.
Oh my.
That is insane. And to start the round, there were 5 separate 1v1s in maybe 8 seconds or so to put us in the 3v2. Then a 6th 1v1 to put us in the 2v2. And with a collective 10 HP versus nearly 300, it is Stockton trying to upset with significantly worse weaponry, and Glitch has a shock dart. They will not use it, they'll go for the kill. The jump through unsuccessful, PJ dies, Glitch will end up finding 3 on the round. It is every single fight being a true 1v1, and Keiser taking advantage. 8-0 now the count, it just seems to be a tally.
And we are tallying upwards quite heavily right now for Keiser. However, that's about the best round that we've seen Stockton have offensively, and I think it was just because of how chaotic it was, to be completely honest with you. Like, Stockton has shown the gun skill to be able to win these 1v1s. I think the largest problem right now is we're kind of going back to bind, right? Where, you know, we have Cosmic getting caught out with the spike on B. There's nobody there to help trade, to help swing, to get that spike back at all, right? We're seeing those little mistakes where people aren't in tradable positions, and I think that's hurting them a ton on this offense.
The timeout, I honestly think this is a pretty good time for timeout. I would like to see it maybe after round 5 when they had the bye available, but I do appreciate when teams call the timeout before a bye rather than calling it before like an eco round, or they can't do a heck of a lot off the back of the information they're picking up with the extra 60 seconds. I like it. Personal opinion, some people have a different opinion, but the problem here, they have played 8 rounds, and if I'm doing my math correctly, which thus far, at least today, I'm pretty good at, they have 14 collective kills and 40 deaths, which is abysmal to say the very least. As a team, they're going nearly triple negative. But they have less kills as a team than Morgiana has individually. And this is just the first half of play on the defense. If I said that on the offense, it would be a little bit more reasonable because you can walk into a site that's fully occupied. But on the defensive side, you are just feeding a Harbor who's already used 2 separate cascades. And I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah, it hasn't. Now, it's up to Tyler to really make some impact here with the Bladestorm and allow the rest of the team to buy. So it should be a decent buy here, as it looks like it's just going to be a standard B hit. We're going to see, of course, the turret getting taken out as well with its new 100 degrees of angle instead of the previous 180. So can't cover as much. You got to make it a little bit more obvious in that placement, as vulnerability going to happen as well here for Tyler. Not much going on. We haven't seen there is the Viper wall there. It's just a rush down plant scenario as Chrome holding this one, not able to get the reposition, and Dex able to get that mid lurk successfully. And now we're having to rotate, but guess what? You don't have a second controller. You're going to have to be taking A essentially solo, and the rotate is being read entirely right now by Keiser.
It is just a set of W keys. They do pick up the res, so on a bare minimum it is a 5v5. But the problem there is you've basically telegraphed where you're headed. Ant has free information towards mid, B is still unoccupied, and A is now being encroached upon, and visually so. Morgiana's position is noted, they will have to disengage, and Dex does die. So there's a way in, there's some space, and there should be a plant, but the spike is on B, and they're rotating back. And I believe it's going to be heard. This is a problem. But maybe the solution is just getting the spike down quickly. And Comedic, very far forward mid. I don't know if this is going to be red. It won't be. 5v3. This is the best look we've seen from Stockton thus far today. At least
it's a beautiful fake back. Absolutely. This is the best look we've seen on Icebox for certain. You're able to get the hard rotate, everybody running up there. You're able to find a pick to make it look convincing that you're actually going through with that swing. They come back to B, they get the plant down. I love seeing fakes being thrown out, but Glitch has something to say about this, and so does Ant. The retake now, making this a 3v3. It's going to be tough sledding ahead, as Glitch going to get a second one, going to get shut down after that. Now a 2v1 in favor of Cup. Glitch holding this down, Morgiana there as well, and Glitch is going to be able to find a 4th. As what looked like potentially the best fake and the best offense that we've seen so far out of Stockton, it's going to be entirely shut down on a 4v5 retake on a B site that's completely barren.
I think it was 3v5 even, because they found a follow-up kill with Comedic in mid. My question is, what does Comedic do after they find that kill in mid? Why is there not an immediate rotation and a complete disengage? You have a 5v3 and less HP. What you should be playing for, arguably, is disengaging, direct trades, and wait for another heal orb if it can be built up. The fact that you don't do that immediately after finding that second kill of the round is shocking to me. You invest that, the resurrection, you have no money again, even you find a spike plant, you have no money. This is just a masterclass from Keiser, even without direct opportunities, and oh my goodness, forward position. Ant finds one, flash around, flashes 2 more, and should be able to find at least 1 more off the back of it. Does just that, 3 on the round. It's a massacre.
It's my favorite position to play on Icebox as well, is just getting, oh my Tyler, I'm so sorry, buddy. And it's just Dex who is able to go ahead and deal with it, but that was quite the surprise there. Imagine if all 3 peaked and you're like, yeah guys, what do I do? I'm sorry, my bad. I guess try not to die next time. I don't know what's going on, but again, the buy is completely scuffed once again for Stockton. You know, they're kind of buying up every single round. They need everything they can get, and that's going to lead to just a little bit of craziness here. We might actually see an Outlaw for the first time today, but that's going to be shut down, and a Vandal is going to be purchased in its place. And other than Cooling Chimp right now, I mean, you're looking at a total of 10 kills for the rest of the team in 10 rounds. This has just been a masterclass from Keiser so far, and they're just willing to take every single aim duel that's in front of them because they haven't lost one yet.
Nope, they're just holding W. And honestly, can't blame them. By no means would I say this is a bad call for them. Honestly, because I don't have the space to do so, and because it's working. 10-0 on the defense of Icebox. This is not a map that is heavily defender-sided. Yeah, it goes to the defense about most of the time. 7-5, again, 8-4, reasonable. But 10-0 with an opening kill and a Harbor who's on nearly 20 kills. Okay, sure.
Not only that, 20 kills and a half. 20 kills in 10 rounds. It's completely ludicrous. There's a dash going to be able to get out, but Glitch going to be able to take another one down. We had the rotate coming back through the B side as Renobos. Not able to find anybody through that new window. Glitch in a little bit of an awkward spot here. Just kind of playing footsies with somebody lurking in tube. Chrome's going to be able to jump out. Actually going to be found. Oh my, that alarm bot spot is disgusting. Are you able to find the kill though, Chrome? That's the question. You still have one that could potentially jump over the top and look at you. Not going to be found as Morgana's just firing away. There's the shorty. There's the kill. And now Spike is defused. Chrome going to be taken down. 11-0. Are we going to see a clean sweep here on Icebox?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. You have a team with max money on 3 players. They have all of their ultimates in the final round of the half, and I believe the 3rd cascade of the half on their 17-kill Harbor. This is just an absurd amount of consistency from a team that didn't seem to have it in map number 2. Map 1 was great for them. Map 2 was really hit and miss, almost the definition of it. And yet here, they could be playing with controllers, and they'd probably still be up by 6 or 7. And Dex even finds an opening kill. This is probably going to be a 12-round half.
It's entirely possible. Glitch has only died 1 time, by the way. I don't know if you saw the scoreboard in between rounds, but Glitch literally has 1 death with 17 kills, as this is probably going to be a rotate back. And Ant, I mean, he's been playing so aggressively. Why wouldn't he be here in the first place? You know what I mean? Like, are you going to check this corner is my question. And the answer is no. Look, oh my Ant. That is disgusting. Find yourself 3. It's going to be Chimp being able to shut that one down. Comedic going to be able to get a trade there. Now a 3v1. Jump spot going to find them in mid as well. And now it's kind of just the guessing game. Are you going to go A? Are you going to go B? Well, guess what? We have utility for both. Tough sledding ahead right now for Stockton. It's looking like it's going to be a clean sweep of a half.
I mean, now would be a great time to clutch, but I'm not too confident in it. You have a heal orb in 20 seconds. You still have to get the spike down. You will not have your resurrection because nobody is close enough to you to pick it up, and the cascade is used. Positional advantage gone. Comedic, even that lack of information being given over, is handed away, and that sound cue should be there. The swing should be there as well. Morgiana finds 18 in 1 half. It's a 1.5 KPR. And a gross start to what could be a very swift end of this best-of-3 series.
I mean, Stockton win the pistol. That's assignment number 1. If you don't win that, then we are calling this wraps, and we have 2 blowouts and 1 very entertaining Ascent map.
Wait. It's impossible for Keiser to win the pistol, because every time a team has won the pistol, they've also won the conversion, the bonus. It would be an impossibility for them to win the pistol and the conversion and the bonus. So Stockton wins the pistol. The math is mathing.
Dude, I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, maybe they can reverse the curse. If we see a 12 one way and a 12 another way, I might actually lose my mind.
I would demand to come back next week.
I would have them play again. Just like, you know what? This is what it is. Like, we're just gonna have to rematch this. Look at it, and look at the aggression coming out from Stockton. They want to take these initial fights. Dex gonna be there. Look at this wall mid though. This is an absolute perfect setup to kind of buy yourself a ton of space. And we're gonna see Comedic. It's gonna be up to you. Obviously, this is Herd. It's gonna be 4 or 5 members just rushing down Caterpillar style right onto the B site. You're gonna be able to get this plant down is the question. PJ playing from long here. Comedic's gonna find one. And here we go. Dex, what a wall from the backside as PJ finds another one from B main.
This is possible. 3 people sitting in B main, and you have your Sage still up above inside a kitchen. And arguably, this could go either way. 0 Point not put in the right position. Ant is still caught by the opposing side 1. The spike will be retrieved. Not put in a clean spot, nor does it have an opportunity to rotate safely, but still the kill picked up on the Sage playing from above. The high ground does not mean as much as Obi-Wan thought it would, and they will have a rotation to go to A. They are sprinting for the other side. I love this from Keiser.
I mean, that's what happens when you get mid control on a map that doesn't have a lot of sightlines on it, though. You get rotations for free because you're going to be playing a site in general. And look at it, you have the orb as well covering the main entrance. So you have a lot of utility here to kind of set yourself up for success, especially with Ant getting back here and full post plant setup. You still have the Viper, you have the Sova as well, and I believe you still have a Snake Bite and a Shock Dart at a very minimum. We actually have neither. Okay, so you have a drone at least to work with there. Spawn being checked. I do not blame them for that one bit, but again, the 0 Point could have been used a little bit better potentially. Flash going to come out, and it's time for the floodgates to open for this retake. But the spike already ticking quite quickly. They're going to have to make moves now if they want to get this done and dusted.
It may very well be it, though. The fact they took so long is going to be their Achilles heel, but they will be able to defuse behind that wall. I don't know if it's wall bangable. It doesn't matter. Glitch will be able to find the shot they were looking for. 2-piece to close it. And the 3v3 goes Kaiser's way. 13-0. After a 13-2 map 1 win and a 13-8 Ascent loss, they take Icebox and are like, yeah, I've got class tomorrow. Let's get on with it.
Yeah, I really don't have words. I'm going to be honest with you. You know, with the comeback that we saw coming out of Stockton, but I think the biggest differentiator out of this is Icebox is a newer map, right? A lot of collegiate teams don't like to run bind, so maybe a little less experience there. They probably have a ton of experience on Ascent, and that experience shined through today, right? But with this new map pool being the way that it is, we're going to see a lot of very unpopular collegiate maps basically be forced to be played, right? We're going to have to see a lot of Lotus. We're going to have to see a lot of Icebox. We might get some more bind, and it's going to create a situation where these teams are going to have to learn and adapt. Whereas map 1 and map 2 for the last 2 years that I've been casting Valorant in the collegiate space have been Haven and Ascent.
Oh, I can't play Haven anymore. I love the new map pool. I love unpopular collegiate maps. They're popular with me. I just hate Ascent. The fact that it's being seen so much is where I'm at. I also have to push forward how good Keiser played as a whole squad. I think that's the most important part about this one, at least for me. Stockton had some individual prowess, especially in map number 2. Map number 3, a lot more individual than squad base. In map number 1, they just didn't seem to be there as a team as a whole. But I brought up the stats earlier. I really wanted to focus, especially early on Morgiana. But you gotta say, pointing at Morgiana, they had the isolated prowess on their own, and then they had some help. And we were looking at Morgiana and saying, oh yeah, they've been the individual to pop off, but they weren't the one to really show up when it closed. And that's the most influential part of this game for me. They had some help when push came to shove, and they really got assisted to close things out. Earlier on as well, Ant picked up extremely good kill totals. I believe 31 kills through maps 1 and 2. Probably dropped somewhere in the neighborhood of a 20 bomb in just 13 rounds back on map number 3. Actually, I have the exact
17
number.
total.
17.
Yeah.
He didn't pick up any more. That's a shame.
Yeah, I mean, when you only have 13 rounds, it's kind of hard to spread those kills as much as they did. Because Glitch went 19-1, by the way. I don't think I have ever seen a player individually have a 19 KD in a collegiate Valorant match. So I got to give Glitch his flowers here. 350 total, 348 on Morgiana. So one of the craziest individual performances I have ever seen as well. So I'm gonna have to ask, like, who are we highlighting here? Because we've had 3 individual crazy performances.
Okay, so I was looking at this earlier and saying, oh yeah, Ant's catching up to Morgiana. I wanted to take a look at Ant because Morgiana didn't show up as much in maps 1 and 2. So we'll take a look at the stats for Ant after this one. Overall, a 284 ACS, 51 elims total. I'll pick up the death total in just a second, but that is an insane showing from an individual. Let's see, 6 in map number 1. Map number 2, they only died... Actually, they died a little bit more. So 14 there, and then 20 plus 7. So 51 and 27. Almost a 2.0 KD. Pretty clean to say the very least. And more importantly, the ACS high. They had 27 assists playing some various agents. That's pretty good from my side. And you still had Glitch dropping 19 and 1 in a single game.
I can't. And not to mention all of the Cypher clutches and map number 1 as well to close it out. Like, it's not only 19 and 1 on just Icebox, and that's where he piped off. We saw 1v2s, 1v3s consistently won by him on Bind. And it's just one of those scenarios where the 2 maps that they played, they looked dominant. And Ascent is just Ascent. I mean, it kind of is. It's, like I said, it's checkers. It is a found game. If you make the correct moves, you will win that map. So... At the end of the day, crazy performance by Keiser. Stockton, I wouldn't hang your head. I mean, Icebox has been back in rotation for about a month total. You probably haven't been practicing it much. And you went up against a team that was well drilled, and especially with the defensive half starting off having 2 controllers and no duelists definitely favors them as well. So I wouldn't hold that against yourself too much. Obviously 13-0, not the best scenario, but you were able to come back after a 13-2 and win Ascent, not let it affect your mental. So I definitely feel good about Stockton moving forward. They prove a lot to me today, even though map 3 definitely didn't go their way.
Yeah, I'm looking at this from Stockton and saying, I think they're going to be a very good best of 1 team, but the problem is expanding that map pool. And you're looking at Bind and saying this is not an uncommon map to see in collegiate play or any level of play for that matter, and yet it still didn't look all that good. 13-2 is not a good showing. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. They needed to be better there. Icebox is the understandable portion of this, and they looked good in Ascent. So the basics are there. The aim is there. We saw that. But the problem is the strat book on Bind was a little bit barren and just non-existent. I think they accidentally set fire to it through the ice, and they just lost Icebox in, we'll say, not a great fashion. The fact that they came back from a not great map 1, though, is the real resilient part for me. But the problem is they just got doubled down on by Keiser into map number 3 after losing 13-8. So props to Keiser. Looked really good from their side. On the other half, Stockton, the basics are there. They have opportunities down the line. And coming up next week, this is not an unreasonable position to say they can come back, but they have another couple of terrible matchups. Terrible as in they're playing very good teams. In order, the next 3 weeks are Wichita State, good team, Fisher B, good team, and UAlbany, good team. This is a situation where a decent team in Stockton could go 0-3, maybe even 0-4 to start the season, and still make playoffs because they're that good.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly is a scenario. I'm really interested to see what else the rest of this Keiser team can do as well, right? This is the first time they've played together. To come in and take 2 separate maps to win you the series and do it in 26-2 fashion is a statement, to say the least. So definitely excited to see more of this. And again, this is just the week 1 featured match of ECAC. We still have 6 more weeks of regular season to go. And you're going to be sure, of course, to check it out here on Esports U and the ECAC, of course, page as well. Tomorrow, of course, we're going to be bringing you Rocket League and Overwatch for ECAC. But for tonight, I think that's going to do it for myself and Time to Light. Shout out to the production team as always. Thank you for putting on the show. So not only the students can compete, but we can be here and talk about it as well. We love you guys, and the viewers have a wonderful night. We'll be on tomorrow again with Rocket League and Overwatch.